yetimi ene wo edi ho enkomo se o DSTV so a channel 361 Go TV channel 116 na afi wetimi enya onua TV W'asem Yie na wode wadwenche ne nyina nso ede aba log on to your Facebook handles no na anope ma wadwenche ne nyina no emra will gladly accept it and then we'll read your views as well to the rest of the world na yene wo enche but now what mu the many controversies are happening about gold board transactions and operations allegations from the minority side, especially the leader of the minority in parliament, W'asem Yie, and the team know about the considerations over $1.7 billion losses gold board no etimia since the year under review 2025 year kan W'asem no anope we'll tell you more about it na yene wede ho enkomo references made to the IMF country report the final report one more at the buy and sign over 360 million Ghana cedis the final tranche of sika na SSA disbursement IMF no at the mine all the issues IMF no raise in that report and we'll share them with you na afi wetimi atiase we'll break the issues down to the basic understanding. But again, accounting to the people series, this week, W'asem Yie take time, and Ghana for Ninano, Edim, common, some controversies about a chopa bibrinanso, every more about with some commenter, if we some big weeks of the NDC or a buy. And we'll go into details of all of that. Na Yanewo Ache. But again, Obekaya, a few weeks ago, the issues of a legal vacation became very controversial in the country. It was almost as if people did not understand the reason why Yemeka said legal vacation. Yet, and then Chief Justice Yemeka said issues are also with Ure Dubois and Afi Ura Hanan, the former Buffer Stoke Chief Executive Officer no Assendi no Enkoswa Ewo the High Court. Ura Kojo upon Kroma Echo Supreme Court, but set year kase enkwankosi enra no na chese Supreme Court no abone nsema or the godan wo nyina no egu anopai will come into it na yene wo edi ho enkomo as well the High Court judge or take the bail application so edema a year chema wuntumi no we are told say ene no or suspend the sitting until maybe after a month or two later and also ababe another controversial issue anopai yene unyina no ebedi ho enkomo and just stay with us na anopai once again yema munyina ache ema munyina akwaba W'asem Yie suni your weekend review analysis show issues are also in governance issues are current affairs around the country and anopai yene munyina no emo ho enkomo and just stay with us some issues have happened with the Foreign Affairs Ministry unim se uruokujeto ablakwa etutu na namo akọ Russia. We are told say over 65 Ghanaians omukopie mo ewo Russia omodi omo ho ekodom Russia asrafo ku no some of them omotimi ahwere womonkwa. Now the Foreign Affairs Minister has led some arrangement and negotiations with the Foreign Affairs Minister for Russia ebrebemu anope ye no bedi eno nso ho nyina nkomo na afi watimi atiase me dey kwame apia could be from Mr. Speaker anope me ni team ni nyina no eda wase se odi wafidi ato ha join here on our Facebook handle na ma wadwenche ni nyina no emra ma yentwa ye ho na yetwa ye ho no medical culture say the chief executive for Cocoa Board na watwe mu edi nkomo wa account about the issues a border with the losses of the gold board. But is it really the losses of the gold board or losses of the Bank of Ghana? Ana controversies ni no ewo. But yenko na yentie the chief executive how or explaining issues no at the press conference and our press engagement or have a within the week na yemra.
It's simply intended to address a number of baseless allegations and deliberate falsehoods concerning the operations and financial health of the Ghana Gold Board that have been propagated by certain individuals in recent times. Of particular concern is a persistent campaign of lies being waged by one Alexander Afenyomarkin and his ilk against the Gold Board over the past couple of months. This sustained, relentless campaign reached a reckless crescendo yesterday at a press conference addressed by him within the precincts of Parliament. W'asem Yie's modus operandi, which can no longer be allowed to go unanswered, is to repeat the same tired falsehoods as often as possible and on many platforms as he can, in the hope that repetition will somehow transform fiction into facts and mislead unsuspecting members of the public. The Gold Board therefore deems it necessary that the record be set straight once and for all to prevent him and others like him from continuing to distort the remarkable performance and transformational impact of the Ghana Gold Board. First, ladies and gentlemen, W'asem Yie and his followers alleged on several occasions on the floor of Parliament and in the media that the Gold Board made losses in its gold trade operations in the year 2025. This claim is a barefaced lie, which has been debunked time without number by the Gold Board. The audited annual reports and financial statements of the Gold Board for the year ended December 31st, 2025, prepared and published by the Auditor General of Ghana, discloses an operational surplus of 907 million Ghana cedis and an overall surplus of profit of 5.4 billion Ghana cedis. This is an incontrovertible fact. And today, to settle this matter once and for all, I brought to this auditorium a copy of the annual report and financial statements of the Gold Board, prepared and published by the Auditor General, not Sammy Gyamfi and the Gold Board. We don't audit ourselves. Now, if you check page 12 of this report, you will see that the Gold Board on its own, from its own operations, generated total revenue of close to 1 billion Ghana cedis and kept expenditure just around 109 million Ghana cedis. And so that is what we mean by operational profit or surplus of 907 million. It means that if you took all the revenue we generated as an organization and you deducted our expenditure from it, we had 907 million left. Now, because in the 2025 budget statement, government budgeted a revolving seed capital as its equity for the newly established Gold Board of 4.5 billion Ghana cedis, which monies hit our accounts on or about 30th of December 2025. Those funds had to be added to the revenue of the Gold Board because they were not encumbered, they were not depleted, they were not dissipated. And that is why the overall surplus is 5.4 billion. And this reporting was done by the Auditor General under what is known as IPSAS guidelines. And the chartered accountants and auditors understands this very well. So we brought 50 copies and we are going to distribute to you the audited financials of the Gold Board for 2025 as prepared and published by the Auditor General of Ghana, which puts to rest the false claim that the Gold Board has been making losses.
Whether I'm jittery, well, I believe you should know me better. My good brother Felix says something. He says politics is a contact sport. So when you are involved in politics, you are involved in boxing, you should be ready for tackles, you should be ready for punches. And some of us are vaccinated against political mischief. We've taken the vaccine, so we are not worried at all. But what I want to say is this. If the one under whose tenure has board chairman as ECG, you know, where ECG recorded a loss of 8.2 billion, is not facing any onerous bail terms, then how can Sammy Gyamfi, under whose tenure the Gold Board has exported 170 tons of gold through former channels and brought into this country over 17 billion United States dollars in 1.5 years, face onerous bail terms? under your tenure, not a gram of gold produced in Ghana was refined in Ghana. Today, over 9 metric tons just this year of gold we have bought refined in Ghana. We are changing the value addition story. So you see, such statements are reckless. They are what I call the fanciful efficiency of, of a palm wine bar. You take it as comic relief. And it is very sad. You see, when we say this, he says we are not insulting him. This is somebody occupying a seat once occupied by the Venerable J.H. Mensah, the Venerable Papa Uzu Ankoma, or C.H. Mensah Bonsu. Look at the depth and the substance of these personalities. When they rose to speak on Parliament, look at the command they commanded across the aisle. And look at how this seat has now been so bastardized and depraved by a noisemaker who cannot even read and research and get his facts right. So I will go to prison in his brain, and I will have onerous bill terms in his brain. I'm not afraid of any intimidating tactics, because we are serving Ghana in good conscience, and our resource and posterity will speak for us. Thank you very much. But let me just add this. He said people say that because of the role I played in opposition and all that. I'm not the only person who played a role in bringing the NDC to power. And I am not those who think that because of the role I played in opposition, I should be insulated or immune to criticism. Public officers must uphold the principles of probity and accountability. That is the underlying principle of the 1992 Constitution, and a very key tenet of value of the National Democratic Congress that I belong to. So we embrace and welcome constructive criticism. When Kojo Opon Kroma, for example, criticizes Gold Board, I may disagree with him and say that he's not being factual. But it's not personal, because he's making an intellectual argument. Okay, if somebody like Abner Sari or say criticizes Gold Board, you can see that poor woman, he doesn't have the information. It's not personal. It's not personal. She doesn't have the information. You understand? If Anta criticizes Gold Board, all of them have criticized us in the past. We've not done a press conference. It is their entitlement. They are entitled to the opinion, because they don't make it personal. You've not heard any of them talking about, hey, any bail conditions, they are best small. You understand? But when you hear that guy speaks, you know that there is a problem. This is personal. So we are not saying that we are above criticism. No, we accept and embrace criticism, because it is at the heart of public service.
Right, and that is Samuel Jemfi, Sami Jemfi for short, the Chief Executive Officer for the Ghana Cocoa Board, Gold Board, I beg your pardon. And Arope, ononim komona yede ebeshase na yetimi ashe enkomodina sinyina no ede efri ho. The Honorable Daniel Kwesi Ashama, a former Bue Member of Parliament, na currently no meaning baby, don't worry. My very good friend is also the director in charge of complementary education, okay, agency under the Ministry of Education, right? All right. And
finance minister.
The question that Maxwell will be saying, Mami mana chena, me mana kwaba, ansana yecha ye huaba. Honorable, good morning. And you want to say,
Mr. Speaker, I want to say,
you share. We were yemo actually, and
where you are tired in
Max of Person diabolic, but me, Maso Boachi, a former municipal chief executive for a year Swami constituency municipality as well in the Ashanti region. Maso, good morning.
Good morning.
And any moment to say?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Because I didn't want to wear the
very well. But in Trame Hombra, you best start at the Nkomono. Now we'll have a year Dr. Eric W'asem Yie, a lecturer with the University of Professional Studies, ono ebe join ye na yetime eneno edi Nkomo again. A year Dr. Hayford Irakwa will be joining us from the University of Ghana. Na ononso joining in the conversation. He's an economist, development economist, and he obe join the conversation. Now yetimi abriki ene mani nyina no down to your basic understanding. Dr. Jonathan Asante-Otre will be joining us because the New Patriotic Party, as of this week, FBA nomination for the national executive election. One more interest ebetimi a contest at the national level. No nominations ni nyina no FBA. We've seen some aspirant hopefuls are picking nomination forms throughout the week. Enti arope yebedi eno nso enkomo. But mama mabidwa for na chiamo mo akwaba no. Ba intwa hombra. Yebai, we'll start the conversation.
Mino All-in-One Nutrimix is truly milky and contains calcium. So no need to add milk to that rich, creamy cup, which helps to nourish and energize your kids. Mino All-in-One.
Mamena was once again na memo akwaba na just as I introduced to you my guest and okay yatsna si ayeba ababedi enkomo dedi kan mame Emma Honorable Achimbiam na mema na kwaba na mentie no on the opening remarks na afeyenhye nkomodie no ase every honorable constituency at the same party moti saying aban moti saying
yo Mr. Speaker any a tier for sure for on we on TV I think today is my first day in this room. and I thank you for that. Yeah. And many kumasoso. And I just ana mukachino.
And one ube.
Oh, what mu okay. Ye gusu ye echumano. And my shy susu okay. Ye gusu ye echumano. In the sense of the party. Near medical aka and they say Ojankupa Senobitaka or Hatasun. Gusu or Kosuna on Maya Honde. Juma yeah. Don't say Nipa Bebre and Ghana for and Ankase minister where you say minister where you say no. I want to say 1.5 years courses say now say yes sir. A woman say enye ahoto a obia pese bia bibia ye na yanya at this particular point. But bibia kire se anamoto ayewom no quality say Israel for and anti-cocaine ye bedru infitiase ni because Minister of Finance catch Ghana for ni nyina say what you say pa say Ghana for every 19 for the these 2 years no Ghana for every na nientia ye breni say omubo office no eka wo ho a esese ye tua eniema wo ho a esese ye bond holder sika abanda da gise no omu ye Ghana for eseye tua ma omu nti Mr. Speaker obeka kra last week and a week we evite asekra 2.1 billion and now ye den eyi say ye mfa entua bond holders no ka now be hwe so a ye kwan no omo say oman bi ska bebo mu pa dia na nam senia udi atretre fa ekwan papa so na internet ni we bibia fine nti ekwan so we 23 billion Ghana cedis ye di be ye de betua contractors eka nti eniaka me so minister no na aka ni youth employment no our share boss in the 2027 budget 2027 budget ebeba no obe janiam mu kakra ama juma ya ye jina juma ku bia no ye betumi employ ye nuanu a omo ho na ne enti amegi no adikra ne se answer na meba konja no so no complementary education agency for over 20 years no they've never migrated the staff the salary say salary level ye di ma say 50 and one now jina so 20 years ni
I see.
Yeah, by
and what precisely no a dear porte na mo ye complementary education. And say now you're the executive director and under the Ministry of Education no you can't the complementary education agency a dear na mo ye porte.
Oh yeah, juma de no etiquette non-formal education am penny for but say no ye di nkoda ka ho acquire 4 programs into functional literacy enu ni penny for school ayonim say yetako. Then we've added the complementary basic education in koda amunya mfie nwotwe ediko do nwotwe say ebia na ufo ni ho economic issues and now out of this conflict oma from ufana ebia obinmo to akogalamse site ama ja nkoda no ufie wo mu na nam from different regions not from the same region nti sankoda nyina no the CEA Act 2020 Act 1055 echichire mra say ye agency no ye hwehwe sankoda no bebi omo wono na ye mbo omo ewo adesua mu one of betumi asa ko school no you give them to GS one of ntumi ko school no you provide occupational skills nti enu so na ewo na remedial one of my we BC emma kwan say you can rewrite again but those in the village Accra there or ebia obenya teachers or maybe akọ classes but those in the village who caters for them so complementary education is to fill in that gap na yen hwehwe mu na yen kyerɛ ma there those who pass will continue those who couldn't cry omo pese and the young conscience and adwuma we should be able to provide these skills that we are talking about. Nti enuni ejuma yedi mi kanu de say no enye desa ana enye pepepesa emra no na maka ba yegusu etu ana mo say emra eni ya na moto no enye pe nti enu na yegusu kakra so we need a lot of things that
maybe because more activities near more of a quiet one on a quiet side. I don't know if, for the want of better word, Rebecca said it is because munya the enough or adequate resources. And fanya juma is more facilities, you know, and Crawford said that name, or better still, no, because yet purposefully targeted at a section. I mean, particular class of people, Nintina, a quiet as a public Ninsheda and Timunka on Mujumedi Potia Moody.
Mr. Speaker, answer na me ojide pass me fra konja so de obeti Ghana ni nyina beti enka.
I see.
And I don't blame my predecessors. Ye mrano 2020.
Okay.
So anamoto bi wo ho a SA2 omosha ase. Nti bebia medrum pempe so na no me fire act no. Ma o se sika wo act na nkasa mu kra.
Ansa na sika wo act na nkasa.
Act na nkasa ama agency no sika.
Okay.
Enye aban kwan na ebe ma sika. What do I mean by this? You see, today we have informal sector. And an act, no catcher say, at 1055, section 26, catcher say, we should certify all the informal sector in the or the prowlers in Ghana.
Okay.
Omuni onomasha mechanics, plumbers, bakers, dressmakers, electricians. Do you get it right? Now, if we are able to gather these people,
now certify or more.
Who certify or more? At least you take a few. Those who have completed the master craftsmen.
Okay.
Inti enunya na mo ametu ntia mekacha say act na nkasa no sika wo. So you must think of the outside the box. Inti say to me register nkrofo we ni nyina a build database district by district, region by region. Going forward, we say when we collaborate with the local government, what is going to happen? And they say, if you have the database of all the artisans in Ghana, our district assembly you come to our database, you locate the people, and you give them that small contract to undertake. So also, year in, year out, government to say youth and concourse and juma. Now, when that announcement comes out, then it means the database I want a honor SSA about allocated this youth to district, and then they will work. Omuye Juma, we are selling himself buying a master craftsman, and that will be done. Now,
for example, the National Apprenticeship Program.
That's right.
Right.
And it must continue because despite all our Omuye saying, we still have over 5 million informal sector for Omuni registration. And we to the SIS Supreme say this act and section 26 say certificate.
Okay.
And that certificate with QR code that's no said that database if they want to confirm no database no be and also so you bet to me use our database no to go international to look for support. Went to make sure say sikano
I remember but I remember in 2022 there is a private entity around Achimota. I mean, he came up with such proposal. Say the artisans, the master craftsmen, and for instance, Oko Kumase Magazia, masters a woko a chem crofo jumenina no register omo because omunya asem kra na there is no unique group a ka omo asem ye den ema omo abide the policies be ba any idea nobody talks on their behalf oba eye kokompe e won kran ha almost the same thing. And I think it's in the right direction, but just that as a sabo publicize mujubedi no ma omonso a as a omo bemu no etimeti mosinye na fe easily no motimi anya omo to come on board.
I never can say say ma me time and I minim say metua kakra mum na
debia o call radio na debia kakra because me kra na minim non formal meka say omo belong to the district assembly no minim an aspect of omo jubedi but anope no education or the Bibroha na minima me
as a former MC.
Yes. Because the part of workers were be certified. Or more and san jumani ade.
Masters na action conformity.
Also basa answer you be here policy realignment. Because the worker is saying I'm happy so worker say and yet they said and yet said the worker no the former this implementation is difficult. But also a buy no me and at this time I'm not limiting it to NDC Aban. Talking about Aban in general.
Yeah.
Aban will Nsano Juma, also TVET, it will rule play about Nsano Juma for. Also, okay, a Jumura, but mainly limited, no, the W'asem, for instance.
Yeah.
Also, under us new program be almost will be a tete. The artisans, my master craftsmen, normal a training. And then Ankayama on outfit, no. I'm front is hard, and we are 100 over the amount the said institution on way to your market.
Okay.
And remember, man, I easy so certification in betting me a cost. But say, I see will be inquired. Now, men famra or home certified day. When the music and the Becca demo.
Yeah. Nanti America Sani say, say, American a friend of prior learning.
Okay.
Nipa our shop. Look at right. How do we get him on the database? The collaboration is going on. Makers as saying, where are we going to access them? We are communicating with TVET service, Ghana. Omunu, they are giving us all the technical schools in Ghana.
Okay.
With their tutors say, Nipa osi or mechanics no. Ebi audi no kokwa to engine head. Nafa to form. Catcher Nipa W'asem Yie mechanic say fasiso na spark car no na yenhwe utumi a uju certificate. Okay. And then it comes out. So actually in your cano it is a vision because many minister Kayeno also is a good idea. Is going to discuss with the president, but we should continue to develop it. Okay. In that continuation and development, we be in local government. Say now was said, ebia ye bibia ombema directives. Say na say yeah the beko. So
it has to be coordinated from all the programs.
Sana act no kind. There should be collaboration with all these agencies. And Mr. Wona omuwo group no we emba be same group amuwo. No. Emba be same. You continue with your group. I say you were trained teachers. And I were not. The NAT is the spokesperson. Edima teacher for Nina. Indeed, if we have Welders Association. That doesn't negate say a member of certificate. Okay. Who certificate? Who the bay juma? But I'm to me for Mumuku, BB Hamwa. Then
Ekuno will speak.
That's right. So, almost in Namdodo and Yede.
And same. Not just certificate to do on Accra. Most of them no call the TVET institutions, no.
Yeah.
And because certificates are never necessary.
Yes.
Companies need to be brought now. Your artisan now ukra certificate. Obefa. But never do you ukra because anyway you must say do certificate. And so aha. Me say until some will can in the minimum.
Sanity.
You remember horrible time.
Mammy, it's here for dinner.
Free.
No, I said we'll pay something. For the
also the buyer can be free.
Thank you very much.
Very well, thank you. And that is it. That is horrible. The department and the agency, no. I mean, we'll have time for that now. Yetimi Edimo Enkomoye. Maso, Maminti also a party moti say, Ashanti region to say, Motu Abayi new regional executives, right? As of this week, more be a nomination for national executive election. Yes. Mami NTO on that. Now, Yamra, the main issues now.
Well, I mean, I was na Makase, the national elections, no, by the last but one hurdle. Because after maybe I ever heard parliamentary primaries. Yeah. I can W'asem. But like I said, so far BBI is successful. Ebi mo say top down. But we are top down.
So I said top down am
yeah, top down. Top down. Wait, maybe. Top down the flag bearer we any national elections. Any regional elections. Any constituency, any polling station, no, me was a top down there. That's what it means.
But I mean, presumably, the flag bearership race, ought to have been.
Are we saying it's a polling station? Why na kai? Why na?
By practice, that is
by practice. Whose practice? 90. Yes, is here. NBS pen in NPP under President Kufuor. So it's nothing new. I did about several times, and they said the flag bearership position, and party structure no. They can't party executives. Flag bearer no a party executive. There be, but party executives no started from polling station executives, coordinators, constituency executives, regional executives. Now be week national executives. It is will be cancer top down NDC for Aham.
the flag bearer of every party the ultimate, right? And no na mudru wa nipa no na mo presenting the nama Ghana for, right? The presumptions no are that look, Oto about a party structure executive now, they have a mandate of 4 years, right? A different set of polling station executives. Within the 4-year mandate, why do you rush to elect another flag bearer for your party at the time unim say there is also a pending election obeko EDU national executive?
That was the best decision a party not taking thus far.
For which reason?
Decision a party not taking na me madwene mu we na papa o. Say ye kweye flag bearership election first and sani abeye all other elections. And can on say election na smooth pa. On say won't we ni penny Mr. Speaker ni penny Maxwell.
Why did they say in them? Oh, call regents, call constituencies.
Meba.
Call regents, call constituencies. That Maxwell himself in them.
And can my Bobby Crabem. But Sir Maxwell and I may bepe flag bearership nibi. And the cool ye mammy say I'm satisfied. I'm not worried about tomorrow. Timmy from home a election. Also na uko bi na anye ya mawa. Say we resources kakra na aka no bo ho ban wo mfa ma me wurem. But first no, and Kenya to flag bearership election na. Obi a wo interest bi abekọ start sponsoring people at the polling station level. Kick menteme ho ase. Na dey abewie coordinators. Na dey aba constituency menteme ho ase region na abewie national. But bibia you smooth. Ye na ye boy anwom na yesa. Wa wo tinchen dey also how ne say. Say top down na mo frɛ no ebe ma NPP egu a NDC mo say. Say top down no ebe ma MPP agija NDC mo say ana we wedding. Ye na ye kwan na ye ne anim strategy a ye dey 2028 election nim. And ya assess ye hunu say ye to flag bearership election ni via one as we speak we have a flag bearer. NDC nibi. So ye national elections na flag bearer no set it tone for your next move na. Obi anim say Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is our flag bearer. It is for us say ye na ade na ye no say ye flag bearer first no. Esunsun so no eba bebo ye tiri so boy na ase a. We blame ourselves. Ekoye ma ye said the president Kofu Abreso ye no kane a lead ye me win 2000 election na. Everybody will know say eh ade ye no say na ebo apa. Amadede a wo party ni mu nyina no eto atwa anase menka say to atwa kra na ekofom kra by far. The make can say a polling station is successful. Yeah, they are constituency ni we mu nyina. And now no the regional executive selection it was so successful to the extent say wow unimiti wow udi adanse say baby enu ho no ma ya menteme ho asibia and then omo lose ye no kra no asa offer support to omo win no say bibi omo bedie bia no bia enu ho no ma obetwe ne ho afrim me ba cha what say over the week who said the omo nyina ekoye flag bearer ho ekochia no nka sa amre say nyese ye flag bearer nka ye wie ye no ko obi take positions akodi obi echi nka ntokwa na ene ma na nke yebebo ebi enya ma se aba pese but obi take hard stance but wa ye flag bearer nti wa ye be you be how do ho den be support ne nya fe ne ye be chiche yimu akoko ntokwa to ba Ashanti region for instance the team a yenya no a perfect team chairman ode no ho kwaku apia dodo na afre no kuka and a no the best of teams are Ashanti region ye betimi abusa what I say enti like I say Ashanti region adwuma no e wo form and indeed ye be yenso okay over national elections no so we are hoping say processes now started nyame ya adoma on the 3rd of October and ye beto aba no we are praying say bibia be we boko we know so say be we boko na me dey surprising me wo mu ye na na akomia inclusion
yes and no so na me ba no and I've heard a lot of people like say na akomia show ni ti ne dey election ni ma ye niama The my election ni mo ayediama me na bi.
When na kobo na bi di. Ebeye diama obi
that is the conversation that happened.
Ebeye diama obi a all contested for the first vice position because Nana Akomia in terms of inequality were capable of becoming the national chairman. And I say occupying the national chairmanship position or the general secretaryship position. Or you are more than capable. It is our electing who to serve in the capacity as a first vice for one. We are there. It be free. Or no position will be secured. What do I say?
Yes, but I'm saying say Nana B because Nanka predominantly no Obian him say he would have been the obvious choice. So what they know to or more contesting one. Mustafa Hamid but again Sampine
who is also one of my favorites.
Richard Ahiabanso that contest will be very tight.
Very
and so
but when him they say in terms of quality.
Yes.
Almost no level a match position. What I say in terms of quality, but Nana Akomia at the end of the day, I am a destiny will be there. What I say, just say
what it means is already know what take his stance. So
of course, yeah. And then Makoma also was Sampine.
Makoma also was
Sampine, yes, I know there.
But I prefer Nana Akomia.
No.
I said with the one with the highest vote, no.
And I'm saying two position, yeah, selected Bako. Oh, was that the 10? The vice chairmanship position yen selected baako. Inti sese readily a brana soname toa. Nana Akomia Sampine de omo me vote already.
Nana Akomia ne Sampine will vote.
Yes.
Unia Nana B new vote. Mustafa Hamid new vote.
Oh, madam
Nasa a new vote.
Make omo me vote already. Are they?
I don't promote you. I'm say
me ho ya. Say me vote na omo dia. Say me vote na omo dia. You have to give me reasons in terms of quality. But we and I don't want to be a hypocrite. Now my question, oh, Metwa Mubia, Abra him say, wow, ye nyachum, unto Mubia, or more better amom. Me what I say. Enti, maybe to say youth organizer. I'll come to read later. But the mention say in terms of quality, and then Obi to say Kodria has to be retained.
Okay.
What I say?
You do
Obi to say Kodria has to be retained for one reason. NPP, this attitude of always peeling off your materials. Nipa na baba akwa so onko no obi mra. Obe 4 years. Say new maybe wo ha wa hunu na enra say wa hunu. Where consistency a NDC executive structure nim. Obi to say general say do nketia. How long has he been there? Obi to say fifi kwete. We sure so mbesesa no. Adan ye de nansa bia ye pese asesa nipa ye de ne bai. So that position, for once, you have been count to us obey me, and I believe say young fan started with Kodia. Near stability, our party. If I what I say,
me too.
And in terms of quality, Obi to say John Boadu and a Urejako. Omumi no more than far. But when they may hear your macacrans. I've not seriously minima. When him say, let me tell you, say my decided on no mummy no means so because John intiminya me and Mr. Jakuntiminya me. That is me, me come arguing. If I what I say, and I will not pretend.
Very well.
But I've not decided yet.
Very well. My emra the issues for the week, no. So That's where they can your party won't come.
Oh, then we are some of the two national elections.
I see.
And Tina Okachan say it's a practice. And yeah, conventional law.
Yeah,
a practice. Now
it's okay.
Usha Adibako have MPP who say, Omu Yadi Boniko Kachoma. They try to tell you that is the right thing. Intinu Benwa, ono mu pe menu anasem no, na omudi nichi mewa hodada omo. Who tells you, say, Obi Beko University as an alcohol class 1? Who tells you? Say, and this are until wait to me, I MPP wait to me by this convention. On bet to me, I catch you, say, Obeko University as an alcohol class 1. Ghana ha from the Fourth Republic, how do we organize democratic elections from internal? There are floating voters who vote.
And it's to your advantage, Anambwa. It's to your advantage, it is a
you see, the floating voters are more than we, the card bearers in political parties. And we owe it a duty to be teaching them the right thing. And so, say, young political parties, we should know that. Say, uko company, say, debia uba, usi unchia security near oho. Now the MD and now fife. Do you get me right? Security, no one day no back catch us say MD me wa MD office so we let our practices flow from bottom up and no catch security man say who respect no. Now you are telling me that those who have interest say yeah no sir they will come in. So are you trying to tell the whole world say you are gagging those who want to have interest? That is democracy. Allow everybody to come in. Now, who the watch that say, who twana mobia, who lucky get to be, way money bro, because we are not me pentinuma, we don't call it democracy. And that is what we are advising our brothers to be doing. Say, Mujai ne muyenu, na yen twana monu iye na yen fanko. So to me, ne muyenu, well, it will bring them the results. But we have to speak. Everybody have to speak. Say, this year, as I say, because no. Floating voters are more than we card bearing political activists near Ghana. So these are some of the things. Now, Oka Nanabi Numu ni say a very difficult.
So mama na me call line the show. Me ba one sana mako eye. Ansa na mako Dr. Jonathan Asante Ochre ho. But mama kwa ho mane somra na ye ne Dr. W'asem Yie adom eni nkomo. Ono ye financial analyst and then a lecturer with the University of Professional Studies Ewo Nkra ha mene no eni nkomo. Doc, otemenka good morning Pachon Pomo to say
me don't me who ye me ma what here for no asha format and none of something.
Very well. Yeah, that's a sort of W'asem. So, but first of all, you need to also now what you about the issues border on a year gold board, its operations, and I feel coupled with the IMF report what the buy about Bank of Ghana, the activities, and the supposed losses are about so far to the tune of $1.7 billion. Now, controversies are that that loss can be attributable to a year gold board and in Nema all year. The questioner Ghana for the donor Ebisane say a dear nebebentia obeto gold, aton gold, now boka. But the chief executive says that there be gold board no as per the financial and audited report from the Ghana Audit Service no. Any the Auditor General no omunye adwuma emmo kabia. In fact, the gold board CEO no meyeti say over $5.5 billion came in terms of surplus for the operations omo undertaking in the year 2025. Ona we financial person I mean sikasem ho ntotoye ne nhyehyɛ ne nyinaa no wadwimo aboma ewo ho. Ma yentie wa no pay where does the truth lies in terms of this whole national conversation I mean Ghana for nyina atwe wo mo adwen siso yi.
Yo, medasi. So you say your gold purchase program you shall say somewhere May 2022 now. The idea behind it is you better not build the gold reserve. I bet to me abwa actually no say what say it to me ton gold ni be at the support abana adwumadi awodi na kamera kwese asem also you share the round circle of the issue sir efidi abra share anasa from Bank of Ghana side the gold purchase first and precious mineral more tosa near mana ya dana na babe gold board nan saying I would say gold board until now is an extension of Bank of Ghana until say afia abaya ya na adwene say obeso gold board asene or this can be person asene obetumi etumi edidwuma bet me a little bit of independent. But look at the whole of the 2025 I can them now. It was an extension, and a private company, Rebecca said, it is an entity under BOG. And the other one say, BOG what a group and in more technical terms, I know they describe it, but let's look at that as an SPV that is operating on behalf of Bank of Ghana.
A special purpose vehicle. I'm saying a special purpose vehicle. Yes.
Bank of Ghana, Eddie myself, but me they told gold now they I near person there. A couple actually I say a gold board and I say Bank of Ghana no waboka 1.7 billion. Whichever way we look at it, there is a loss that emanates from that activity. In accounting terms, because it was established by bank, it was as an extension of Bank of Ghana. No? The Bank of Ghana may decide to put it anywhere. Into a typical accountant and a prepare accountant, you prepare gold board na account. You prepare Bank of Ghana account. You prepare the group as in the gold board and the Bank of Ghana the boom. And it is overall that has now resulted in the loss. But to make the gold board look nice, we can try to push the debate. We can try to push the debate or the cost to Bank of Ghana, but it doesn't change the fundamental problem. Also, we share a Bank of Ghana balance sheet. As we speak now, at the end of 2025, we have a BOD equity showing negative 93.8 billion Ghana cedis. We have to find money to support Bank of Ghana. And since the Bank of Ghana could do Juma, and got the Mano, Juma are resulting in a loss that has shifted equity to a negative position, close to 100 billion. So the bad dollars, it is almost about $10 billion. Bank of Ghana, the equity position, also a buying the question. So the shifting of the goalpost don't change the narrative.
Okay.
So we share the whole activities now. Now can also gold board top gold or top gold now. Then it moved to the Bank of Ghana because they wanted to stay competitive. And one of our problem is smuggling. And to curtail smuggling, you have to offer a competitive price or more artisanal mining, small scale mining, or more mining. Because we're giving them a good value, they will sell it to you. So they were buying the gold at the spot, the forest rate, at the spot rate. And here they still say $12 cedis. $12 cedis to a cedi, over 12 cedis. Now, when it comes to you selling it, you will sell it at the discounted rate below how much you have you bought it. And those are October. Let me give a typical example in October 2025. Now, world gold price is around 4,054 per ounce. And a year ton 3,919 per ounce. It means that the vodka in terms of ounce around $135. It's less than, it's about in percentage terms, it's about 3%. And they say, the whole architecture now, it will definitely result in a loss we cannot justify no matter the angle we come from. Now again, the argument is that Gold Board has delivered some value to the Ghanaian economy. There's no two ways about it. When the program started in May 2022, it delivered value. At the time, now your gold reserve, it was sitting around about I think around 8 tons. At the time, you started the program, now your gold reserve, it was sitting around 8 or between 8 and 14 tons. About the end of 2024, we are moving from that 14 tons. Sorry, it was 14 tons in 2022 ending. They are moving up to about 30.5 tons. In percentage terms, I increase our tonnage of gold over about 75% or 71%. Currently, as at June, August this year, our tonnage has rather reduced as we went all-time high in last September to 37. And Bank of Ghana said they want to sell some to increase our dollar reserve into almost. Currently, we have 24.4 tons of gold. So it's just a swap by 25%. Now, one would expect to say the value delivered in terms of our total reserve, it will be far exceeding where we picked up from 2022 up to 2024 in terms of value. Compared to there's not so much significant change. So if the same program that existed some years ago, now you are continuing and we are doing comparative analysis in terms of the additional value you have added against the loss you are making. No, nothing who said the profit or the gains you have delivered is less than what it used to be. Then there's a question.
Yes, but I don't know, government would disagree with you, Bank of Ghana would disagree with you, and then the gold board would disagree with you as well. So currently, your reserves, is around 24 tons. Again, we are told, the policy objective, for reserve, and then for forex, at least a lot of them now say forest at the forest name, but month on month BOG at this can be forex be ever into the system. Last month about $1.4 billion was put into the system. This month we are told somewhere around $1.7 million will also come into the system. But maybe the confusion yes, under the financial model, BOG existing between BOG, any gold board, baby Ghana ni person or TSA na onya clarity in terms of the political na air cost and they say yes, say Bank of Ghana the financial arrangement, my gold board etimi eto gold at the manner in the value chain a hinfa and a gold board na juma ekosi. Gold board is it a case say or gold ni we the Bank of Ghana we na juma. It is up to the Bank of Ghana so beton the ma off takers. However, okoton the ma off taker na a kaba, you cannot associate that with the gold board. And now in real terms, Yabeka said it is a continuous process until whichever losses that may accrue along the value chain, we can still attribute it to the operations of the gold board. Because utie the W'asem Yie air, this is where the argument seem to lie. And where does the Ghanaian get a better understanding of the fact? Say, baby, a generic analysis ni issues are air cost yen segregate na yentimintias from that particular point.
Minia, it is good to say you brought the issue of the dollar injection, and that has been one of our biggest challenge. From last year, in the first quarter of last year, around March up to I think. In less than 15 months, we have injected over $18 billion just to pop up the city, to make the city stand. Now, maybe someone say, is that a sustainable way if we want the economy to develop? And probably we can create either Obia, a footballer or a near one and Panyason ball. In the short term, ball, but in the long run, the consequence of whatever you are doing will be telling on the Ghanaian economy. And see, the idea of selling and injecting dollars into the system has been one of the reasons why our industries are not doing well. Our industries are not doing well because by injecting the dollar, like for example, last week, if you are an exporter and you sold goods and you are expecting to receive money, $1,000. Now we're expecting $1,000. Within a day, you lost about 10% of your expected revenue because there was a sudden injection of dollars into the system. Now, competitively, you have made import to also be a sudden cheaper than locally manufactured goods. And we know that our problem as a country is that we are import-dependent country.
Look, I now want to tune up the Mukakra, mami.
Okay. One of them say, the problem ankasa dentia ye di gold board abase yen ton gold na yen fanhye o mani mu any importer that bia ye go so ye import ye di amana ne enema e ba Ghana enka ye enanka ye to be produce niema no e wa hanom locally enka there will no need say ye beton gold na injecting into the economy. The injection of a year, what can I say? That is the main reason board, BOD, and they will disagree with me. That is our major problem. I aim to me developing locally. I better me supporting local industry. Me know what I say. As this week on your sister station, TV3, we were business focused. We were discussing government support. Government support and that there's a system to give them bulk billing for industries for electricity. They do bulk billing, and bulk billing and they say amount to the same rate as residential people pay because the industry, because of the producing goods and services, of the support here, rate is a little bit cheaper. Government said is removing it. Well, GF one more, or this one more, it means that electricity cost for industry will go up by 40%. The whole industrial architecture, energy constitutes 30%. And imagine that your energy composition 30% will be increased by 40%. And so your energy composition, in terms of your total cost, is to rise to almost almost about 40 to 50%. So why won't we continue injecting the dollar into the system? And the fact is that
Doc, on that particular yes, on that particular session, before I bring you up to the main question I may be said earlier on, no, the particular session I want make it here, no, more lectures are much finance and economics, no. I always keep asking this question, but hardly do I equally get answers. Sir, as a third world country like ours, or an emerging economy, to say Ghana, what is the ideal exchange rate a year for our economy? And then what is the ideal inflation rate a year for our economy? Because again, with all the analysis I will make, import ababe very cheap because ye kasa ende dollar na ho den ewo form upebia ubenya ama exporters nso esu because or exporting the niema sika ubenya no or convert it into the cedi no again strength because of the injection. I mean, udi home komo anope. But whichever way you look at it, all the two sides, say anko ye na dollar was right, importers ebesu as well. So I always say, it is a priority of the government as to how or personal position you can decide to say, exchange rate and cost to the optimal levels. Yet, I mean, importers besu, we are an import-driven economy. Yentiminye enough production ebemu self-sufficient, but that notwithstanding, so while we are a financial expert, ye bisa no pay say a here fana as a country, ye the city no ebedrua, ebeye ideal, both sides omu nyina no aye okay. What will be the adequate response? I mean, obek just say ediama by say yem pegi and yen hedge at this particular levels.
Okay, so both in practice and also even developed countries, you cannot have an ideal exchange rate, but you can have a stable exchange rate. Both importers and exporters, and yet they are not looking for a dollar no esobet tishim and as a bepeja kosoro for planning sake. What are the free amanone o de bagana? What by the say no betua? Then a peja kosoro. Or no, auto and the answer ato adie ama amonone or change of bedicano. Na akiaba form. And see, young say, fa, city no echo 1 city and after 2 cities. It should not be artificially engineered. And then the losses in urban. But it should be relatively stable. Made to me at their planning. It's basically for planning purposes.
And Doc, you don't think say no one buying with yenana, because I remember somewhere last year President Mahama said in fact dollar na forma could do even 10 cedis no exporters no issue. For that reason on the finance minister Edin Komo we need to look at the stabilization of that particular year, the exchange rate. Now afe importers ni exporters for a long while planning. And I think say in the last 1.5 years, exchange rate has been alternating between 11 cedis and 12 Ghana cedis. You feel say the government hasn't done well enough by ensuring some level of stability up until this point. With the current levels even as of this morning.
Oh, so you have to look at it in terms of the overall effect on the economy. The cocoa sector, one of the problems was because of the CD reduction. That put cocoa farmers into a lot of difficulties. Beyond the world cocoa prices falling, the value of receipt in Ghana city is drastically reduced. And sometimes don't blame cocoa board, the cocoa board, one year, but there are some of the things that it is beyond their control. So a sudden reduction will affect our cocoa receipt. It will affect our oil receipt. The government, even overall, your revenue will be impacted as well. Like government is struggling with revenue generation. It's a sudden injection. So we should also know that injection of the dollar also comes at a cost. And I impacted Bank of Ghana to a negative equity of about over 90 billion Ghana cedis. It is a share policy, not one-sided. Yes, over to me at the city now perform. Over to my about the drew 10. Over to my about the drew 11. Now the other side, the other side will be suffering. If we had been a bit more of looking at long term, look at the impact of even the CD exchange rate would have been reflected in our oil. Oil, the city above from last week here, about the drew less than some the BOG rate less than 12 cities. But still, oil baby the market has not even taken notice of the volume of injection. It is a cost. Not say we look at short-term measures. The fundamental issues will not be addressed. Let me come to the substantive issue of the gold
exactly board, the gold board losses, because again, yes, may come from the IMF report. Now, also lessons learned from the Bank of Ghana's domestic gold purchase program. This selected issue paper addresses the legacy of the Bank of Ghana's domestic gold purchase program, which was announced in 2021 and mostly phased out by end of June 2026. Because what it means is that the financial modular financing the operation of the gold board, as of July, gold board nankasa ana take over. Bank of Ghana, emphasis Kebia, Emma Mesona Simbim. Now, where do we put, the finality of the issues are coming up, in terms of $1.7 billion. Now, what we akwa controversy, Obia no ewo from the expert point of view.
Okay, so the narrative, gold board was not designed to make profit. The narrative, and it was designed for macroeconomic stability. But the final thing, if the claim is that gold board wasn't designed to make profit, but rather to restore macroeconomic stability, and that design is rather making Bank of Ghana incur losses. Let's assume that we are putting the blame squarely on at the foot of Bank of Ghana, and the program which is designed Emma Bank of Ghana incurring losses. And how do you justify it? The honest truth that we need to embrace and find solution to it is that you cannot buy gold at a spot rate and sell it low. you will forever be incurring losses. And we need to look at the overall architecture and how government can design the whole system. We can decide to say, okay, now that Gold Board is a different entity altogether, but we cannot decouple it from the off-taker, that is the Bank of Ghana. And whatever desire we want to look at it and make Gold Board look glorious and good without looking at its impact on the balance sheet of Bank of Ghana, it is not sustainable. And
yes, but Doc, one would take you on by asking you, sir, even the core mandate of the Bank of Ghana, which is ensuring price stability, or yet open market operation, just to ensure say price be stable, yet, I mean, likely say obeying care losses, I mean, throughout that operation. And how different would this one be in terms of, I mean, still making sure say Gold Board the Nemanaba off-takers are taking it off. I mean, we are trying to stabilize price. And virtually it comes back to the core mandate of the Gold Board as well. And so this one will not be any extraordinary thing that we might want to make noise about.
Minia, you can't state-owned institution extra friend say so you are from then give them KPI and all that. Most of the state-owned institutions are not profit-oriented, and they are set up to make a certain contribution to the Ghanaian economy. The fact that you are not a profit-making entity does not automatically make you a loss-making entity. That must be clear. And even if we look at the core objective of these state apparatus like VOG and whatever, you have at least 3 key objectives to achieve. Number 1 is efficiency. Number 2 is effectiveness. Number 3 is economy or value for money. Okay. And so whatever you are pursuing, even if we take the angle of profitability from it, you are supposed to be efficient by taking the most efficient decision to ensure that resources, the taxpayers' money, are not wasted. For example, we need to recapitalize BOG. Where are we going to take the money from? It's not from the ordinary taxpayer. Which brings cost to the state. We are the budget allocated about 5 billion to Gold Board. Where is that money coming from? Is it not from the taxpayer? So we should not use where to shift away your responsibility that you are supposed to be efficient, effective, and achieve value for money. And I think it's really, really missing. If you achieve macroeconomic stability, you achieve inflation targeting at a cost that burdens the taxpayer, I don't think it's worth it. And
so, in your view, Obeka say, I mean, indeed, a Gold Board now boka say a kabiaba. It is through the operations of Gold Board and Amasa Kano Ababeto, the Bank of Ghana, and so say.
Obviously, it is clear. It shouldn't really be my view. It is the view of the IMF report. The IMF report didn't mention explicitly Gold Board, but it mentioned domestic gold purchase program. Who is responsible for domestic gold purchase program? It's the Gold Board. We can turn around the story, but we'll come up to the fact that the inactivity of the domestic gold purchase program has not lived up to expectation in terms of the $1.7 billion loss that have been delivered.
Okay. Doc, I don't pay my phone see her. Now, I'll say, I'm highly grateful. Maybe any beside in Comobim. Why? Very well. And Dr. Eric W'asem Yie, a financial analyst and then a lecturer with the University of Professional Studies, and speaking to us. Now, we'll try our best to bring on board Dr. Hayford Irakwa as well, development economist, and then Oneno, share the views as well on this particular subject. But, Mamima, a year. Miankasa minua peyi Dr. Jonathan Asante Ochiache na memba na kwabo watena se ache. Doc, good morning.
Good morning, Speaker.
Na empomo te say
right that turn on so
Erade Adom ye nyina ye ho ye UCC boko there.
Oh yeah, me Adom.
Very well. Yeah, that's member honorable Awie in just obe wrap up on the Nanabi issue no. Okay, wait. Okay. And yeah, Mamimra honorable so Mamimra doc so na mintie no. Mitie no wi na afi mabamo so on the Gold Board issues no. Doc, mamintie o kakra.
Well, Speaker Mdawase, nanka be mum de ka Gold Board asem no. The mathematics of it nanka be person no komu. Yes, and say I think there is some high level of some disingenuousness on the part of whoever argues from whichever angle. There is no way that you go and buy gold or anything else at a particular price for an entity. Nasa entity no, an adjustment. Well, no rate now kotoye no, or no nangasa on a different rate. So from the word go, you see, the disingenuousness is the fact to say this domestic gold purchase program, right, was bound to make losses. That's the more reason why I started here from, is it 2022? They made a loss, 2023 they made a loss, 2024 they made a loss, 2025, because they scaled up, right? They scaled up because Enfan said a cowboy in 2024, let's say
$400 million.
$400 million. How many tons? That's how many tons of gold? And our toy boss are
4 billion.
So what they call
percentage
2025 is for you to reach a loss of 1.7 billion dollars. It means to say you will have to buy more in order to reach there. There is nothing atmospheric science about this. The architecture itself, the organogram itself, you are bound to make losses.
But the contextual argument as to baby SSA a cannibal and a yet gun and in the account. Because assertion here say you didn't say good a precious mineral. The ordinary person now all share no pay only knowledge about finance, economics, any the in simple terms. Who did that, right? Now your most case for did no a gold who did a woody. Ghana ni no question will be say a then I will to gold, a ton gold, a boka. I think say that is where clarity will have to come. Now explanation no ebebe ye. Ma Ghana ni na OT no etimi enya ne honte ase.
Yeah, Speaker, that is an oversimplification of the issue. You make it look so, oversimplistic, and we need to call a spade a spade. Do you realize 2022 a car BOG boy, did you ever hear the name of PMMC? Did you ever hear the name?
Did
you ever hear the name of PMMC in 2023? So Maboka say.
But they mentioned them.
Did you ever hear? No, the way they are latching on this.
No.
It is very political.
Yes.
Because somebody who virtually contributed in making you lose massively. If it's a dream. Look, whichever way you look at it, I have read what My Joy Online has put out there, and they make it clear
in terms of
whether it is gold board that caused or occasioned the loss, or whether it is the architectural design that Bank of Ghana itself has put in place, and they said that it is misleading that you will identify gold board as the one who has occasion. The only thing we should break down now, can say right? No more say fees. Now nipa na wakwa to touch anyama na dia bra no. Are you not going to pay him fees for using his logistics? You're supposed to pay for that. Then almost say mainly forex. And Bank of Ghana says the forex contributed over 80 something. Mr. Samije is even suggesting that it should even be more than 90. And he beyond himself forex, the import of this is the fact say Nipana war turn gold no. On turn gold no more according to Bank of Ghana rate. So we should be asking ourselves that.
No, but
Speaker, yes. There were about 3 different levels of exchange rate in this country. 3 or 4. One, Bank of Ghana rate. That's official, but you won't get it. Bank of Ghana rate. You have the banks, right?
Commercial
banks, they have their rate. Then you have the forex. Those have their rate. Abochi too has his rate.
So, but sir, by regulation, the Forex Bureau, the commercial banks, the official rate is so many the Bank of Ghana rate. Because that is what the regulator gives you. So then, if the Bank of Ghana rate is what is being used, yes.
Now Kokoto gold, at the forex rate, how do you marry the difference? That is where the problem lies. And it didn't start now. This thing has been with us in the whole of the Fourth Republic and even beyond, where the rates have always been different, from different levels. Me call a UK, me say, oh, me here pounds. Me call bank. Me call because they have to ask you a few things. They will check your passport, whether you have the visa to travel and other things before they will change the money for you. No, sir, go and check the other place. It was different. But you see, my colleague, I'm trying to say, pumping dollars into the system has been a permanent phenomenon, right? In the activities of Bank of Ghana since the Fourth Republic and beyond. It has been. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. The fundamental structure of the economy has not changed. As you always pointing out, it's an import-driven. Export volume is saying. You have to balance that out. That's why the president said, on said dollar could do 10 cities.
Yes.
Now exporters were complaining because obviously the export from Ghana will be expensive in the eyes of those who are importing. And then this is an import-driven economy. Things that we are importing will rather become what? A little cheaper, because now you need fewer cities to get the same dollar. That is why you saw drastic reduction in so many of the things that we import since last year. And then the fundamental difference, Abane said, what the current government has been deliberate about is the gold board. Because what the Bank of Ghana is doing now, generally, this pumping of dollars into the system, it's not something that is new. In the previous government, the difference was that we were borrowing from the commercial Eurobond there to support. Until Abanasana, you are borrowing at a cost. So that rate is there. Until the Biano, that is what your loan portfolio will increase. What I said, your loan portfolio will increase. And it did not start now. From Mr. Rawlins's era, President Kufuor, Eurobond, President Mills Bresno, but Ombetia, opening Kufuor, Mr. Akufo-Addo Suba, they will be paying the previous one. That is something that has been with us. Gold board has come in. Look, some of us heard stories about how some Chinese were even, laundering gold outside of this country. So you have a different thing altogether that has come into the picture and says, look, they have become a regulator. And showing say, gold, say assassin, say you. Yeah, Makwai, I may be no smuggle no munyam fasodia. Okay, in I think President Akufo-Addo's era, Dubai. They say the gold that Ababedi Omo, if your mind was about $2 billion less. So that $2 billion na kodi one for a bottom. So this idea of gold board has come to solve a particular problem, block the leakages, and ensure that things are done right.
Yes, but I don't know Obia acknowledging. Now, maybe a consensus in the world, and I feel as pundits and then as journalists and people that you making public commentary, we are not really, hitting on the issues the way we are supposed to hit it. Now, the point is that gold board, by the act, I establish a gold board, right? You are supposed to ensure, over-regulated sector. No? Now, officially, as part of their mandate, gold board and a certain price to gold in Ghana, right? And one price, and in fact,
price.
Yes, Oko Gold Board website you get to understand on daily basis.
Demand and supply forces will determine that, and then they will buy it at the current.
So on the website of Gold Board, every morning at Opebia, they announce price at which you better gold.
Like Cocoa Board.
Exactly. So the point is that whilst you are announcing the price, the license holders. Infanto gold, free miners, right? How do you get the forest differentials Because at the time, I will my price of purchase. Now the air to minus no at the back tier 2 holders, tier 1 holders, they also end up selling it to the aggregators. Then aggregators substantially sells to Gold Board, and now they are break Gold Board. How then do we have the forex differentials?
It is coming from Bank of Ghana's end. That is where the differential is. That is where the differential is. Or no accountant no honor there. Or no so rate in say. Also, so no, you won't get the gold at the rate of Bank of Ghana. Into better when you gold in the amount Bank of Ghana, not the INA domestic gold purchase program. To better when you answer. But we put there, I funny say, ne speech no the buy no. Nanka make we say the new government has been deliberate about Gold Board, Feed Ghana program, big push. These three are driving, the economy of this country for the government. But Okasembi, and it appears to say because of the idea of who made the laws, right, has rather, sorry, and what you need to do on a change infasodi aba, but Okasembi was say, Afenyo Markins continue antics, which is a quote, must therefore be seen for what they are. A desperate smear campaign by persons who have specialized in sophistry and political blackmail in pursuit of selfish ends. These are devious extortionists. These are devious extortionists who will come at you with lies to tarnish your reputation in the hope that you will fold and settle for what they call compulsory arbitration and oil their palms. Well, this time around, they found the wrong target. So some way.
And these are the same comment some Ghanaians are criticizing. Say W'asem Yie, right? Plus many other comments.
Where he felt to say in his brain, right?
Exactly.
But of course, if somebody also says, say, which
and this one, as someone who is a lawyer, or allege you, substantially you ought to have proved, right?
No,
you are on the public platform now. Offer the minority leader in Ghana's parliament, say, or you're extortionist and all of that. I mean, people consider say, sir, choice of words way and in some way without putting out any evidence to buttress such claim I will make it. I mean, obviously, he could have just said, say, objection when free Sadia.
And yes, be some more kind in and the manner and the language that he used. As for me, I won't do that. What you say? Say, what I say in his brain, and I'll be in his brain. No, I wouldn't.
And look, lighter than they already.
I wouldn't. But to also say, we will bail condition will be onerous. Means what? The person stands charged, the person stands imprisoned in advance. What you say? And also, that one too is also a blackmail of a sort. I don't think it's a kasapa. It is a veiled threat. It's a veiled threat. As if it's a person panama and I say, well, you may be a one here, who bail condition. Now, because it's a bail condition by onerous. Just say from the word go no. Ya chuwa tumo. Ya chuwa tumo. Ya jeli udada.
Okay.
That is what it means. But maybe say such way blackmail in pursuit of selfish, and these are devious extortion. I mean, maybe we may have to interrogate that. Maybe that is not the time. Because you are teaching some beer with three.
Very well. Doc, Mr. Balsubian, but my member must also not maintain muscle on this.
Mr. Speaker, baby, a dog, do you or with the background, or I can't say I'm disappointed in you. Because my name, the posture, so Kasama Gold Board, or man clear, so Kasama Gold Board. The young baby I didn't before in the discussion. But what I say?
Me too.
Because you don't bring a Fenyo marking up for ridicule. No one question behind that some Samija and Fikaye. No Ababa can say, yet a tensem. What a teddy evidence and what if you do you have evidence to that? Yet a tensem. Sami Jenfi were evidence afenyo market abebu se diska won famra. If you don't do that, you shouldn't do that.
But why do you blame him? Because
why shouldn't I? Because
paraphrasing the Sami Jenfi.
He quoted. He didn't paraphrase.
This is exact quote, cry in a way. Yes.
He didn't paraphrase. Sami Jenfi den ko aka na asem, which I will address. But to say Sami Jenfi make W'asem Yie because otetensem say afenya marking ejiska e wo bi ho ana. What do you mean by that? You don't do that to Obia only platform you so seeking to indirectly tarnish somebody's image. Because the be here enya de. Ebio Sami Jenfi. O say ya be kan say ana honorable afenyo market minority leader ba be kan say omo no e say ebre ne so na nioma dane a omo be condition no yentimi nso a mepacho Sami Jenfi de nobody should come to Sami Jenfi's defense when it comes to W'asem Yie. Mepacho enya Sami Jenfi ne ora ato forcing and omo lead demonstration call Bank of Ghana ese yaboka sabra 60 billion mepacho so kai eno krabo na nye gold ka o and the Bank of Ghana is in a negative equity of close
93 billion.
Why, it's more than that. I'll come to that. It's more than the 93 billion. Because
93.8.
It's more than that. You know why I'm saying it's more than that?
I'm giving you the figure according to the Bank of Ghana.
And that is why I am saying don't go by that. It's more than that. You know why I'm saying that? Sir, financial, Bank of Ghana, they buy as a den gold board the car ne woman ne work in Bank of Ghana's books or mu declare my yes or more auditors now state na 9 billion, 9.6 billion, and the gold board sikano 22 billion 9.6 billion, and 22 billion is for 2025. Yenya 2026 kakra ekayabo. It is what the difference ne beka ho a ye twam 100 billion. Bank of Ghana is in a negative equity over 110 billion. Me pa cho what you say?
Me too.
It is a Sami Jenfi a wono atina krom ha attracting security personnel. Asa wono na dwuni mu no sabio they are in bed with aban na wo so NPP aban no. Enti se china bi omo ba omo nyina omo beyi wo madi wono tena hotimi threaten. And I was Sami Jenfi are untouchable. You know, when I hear people, they said their dog abaya wahano. Na omo back to Sami's defense. I mean, buzasa wama jeseng. Omo kani yengina yemu.
That will not be a fair comment.
Good. Na the ono kani fair. You see, sa what the kokromoti kwa year ya de sutro eja okwan. Kokrama mferese beto mi minimwa. Ose meme ferese me dia sa wa betare. Huh? I ask such individuals say, "Mo jeseng dia mo agini mu ndikra no obi ehunu." Because a new branch away and rebino. So no near see Yesu dia. And then Kianya cry and call baby. This ain't ya from some as to cease. I didn't some see. Mr. Speaker.
Me too.
That's a gold board. Wakoton gold. Bank of Ghana. IMF the report about. Or say Bank of Ghana. Aboka. And then they can buy. Or say gold I koto toye. And they can buy. I mean, I'm going to go. There's an institution I want to go. No, and Kobian can't you name NDC for any Omo Mukasa say gold board. I dear Yamona Basso, Sami Jenfi Bejina, who no addressing media. No, or so what Timia to over 170 pounds of gold.
And that is
Ama dollars, baby. Into Yamona Basso, mountain your mom friend. Sir, the car by the house here, you film. If the policy is for Bank of Ghana, and I must say, Bank of Ghana na policy ni yene dia, enti ekana abani yemfama na, me pacho abasobo ni yemfama gold board na. Awunya atwum ne wo mu no. The hypocrisy, enfeni masem ne wo mu no. That is my worry. Say policy ni ye Bank of Ghana dia. Say offer de enye na. The Bank of Ghana because a gold board only a vehicle a Bank of Ghana use to the accumulated gold and I'm a boy. You see, Sanya Shani Muni Fenimu Asama. Mr. Speaker, I can tell you, sir, Okoto board there, any tomatoes. So Nimsa, you're more difficult than buying gold. So Nimsa. So Nimsa. Because gold is an international commodity. Every day, what me determine price, you know. But here the Okodiano, Mama 10 cities was there before 2 can home say. It is a one negotiate here, your boo. Gold is an international commodity. It is a Bank of Ghana, gold board sika. Kokoto nsuo we brem. Woni munsuo ne bo. Na no ehwehwe ani mu ni mfeni masem. Obi abo gold board abaso as if said this is the first time a BC. Na sebio gold for pet can say gold for reserve program no. Me patcho hwan na dey buy. Enyan people na dey buy. E free tete kwa ba ni pe.
Mo bo ka.
Oh nya abota. Me ba kan so. Me ba so nya abota. Sanhwehwe ni mu na wo mu na mo pese mo dane ni o mama ne yese ade a ekoso a gold board lidia me atoto gold no. This is the first time e be see no. Sanya atwomsem na me pese me pointing it out. Every kwa penyin penso me first start President Rollins, President Kofo, Professor Mills, JDM1, Nana Adodankwa Akufo Addo 1 na Ghana yem to gold. I want to state this on authority and I want to be clear on this. So Ghana ne yem to gold domestically e wa Ghana. It took a brand here be a friend of Dr. Mahmoud Baumia and this initiative way by ya. Bank of Ghana leading agenda no and me started here to gold. 2022 when we started yetimi to 3.47 tons of gold. Etimu obi en create impression say na me started to gold. Me pacho 2023 yes scaling it up. You know Sabra na afraid that you put up the structures. Yes scaling it up. Equal 37 tons of gold. Me pacho percentage wise calculate it. About 8 times what we did the year before. 2024, yet 56.47 tons of gold. Until any review anymore. And a bank a gold board about 110 tons of gold. Until no se man friend. The 56 tons of gold. Now it's a NPP or power.
That is a double of the amount of
in fact, 56 the 2023 you know. About 8 times the return of 2022 when we started. And the 56 tons of gold, no see almost a double of what we purchased in the year before.
And you believe, say, more idea on that.
See, they my trajectory, no. As a fibia more than the previous year. It is how can say the following year, no, and that's why almost double. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Or no na wa ba beto policy ni nyo na de baaye eyenim na efretetete ni so nim say na gold no Ghana ha aban bia make any deliberate move and who say me dey see the koto gold menya dollars me koto ma NPP no de baaye no say na yen fa NPP nzinche ne enkobo hwan abaso and a more media say you are not questioning these issues. Yeah, Manaya says gold board is only a name. In fact, PMMC and NPP are no only
the ideal conversation. No, yes, because my Jumani say I mean I'll come in at a point and come on echo. Okay. The ideal conversation. No, yes, at the time you started domestic gold purchase program. Objectives no gold for reserve, gold for oil. Gold. Yento gold no, yeto gold na yenkipibi with the Bank of Ghana. Yenfa bi enkoje oil enfamra because in 2023 those were the times 2023 those were the times na oil nebo no air cost yes. So now as we speak there is nothing like the friend gold for oil, right? Abai we say we try no more, but gold for reason and that's so. Now this government is saying say out of the proceeds of gold, you know what we call a stabilization in our economy, and all the macroeconomic indicators no are turning to the positives. And then the IMF realized say it is true. Only say as much as say a Juma gold board no air yen, ama a council day aba. So why do we not want to agree to the fact say yes, or also buy and why there by ensuring say baby a economy ni free In 2024, 23.8 inflation rate. And as we speak this morning, inflation, you're saying, as of last month, now inflation, you're saying, again, even the exchange rates in Komoa year diliginano, move from by exchange rate, you're saying, and at this point in time, exchange rate, you're saying, then you can measure the contribution gold board in terms of stabilizing the economy. Why do you refuse, say, a banner this aspect? You barely also acknowledge, say, yes. Gold board, I'm making some level of contribution.
You agree
rather
with
we
me?
Lay emphasis on the losses.
You agree with me, sir? A gold for reserve programmer, NPP, and a debuy. Oh, can say the difficulty I come in 2022. No, you started say year to gold. No, say 2022 now inflation is 54%. You started year to gold. No, 2023. You took 37 tons of gold, a drop in inflation from 54% to 38%. 2024, you took 56 tons of gold, a drop in inflation from 38% to 23%. So let nobody create the impression, say NDC, buying a gold board, Abuama, inflation, inflation was already on the decline. Let nobody, the dollar had achieved stability. Let nobody create a different narrative now.
And that is my difficulty with you politicians, because who acknowledges through the gold purchases, Mafa inflation from 54% to 38 to 23.8 as of December 2024. Now Nipano afa the rate of inflation from 23.8% at the about 5.1, 5.2, right? As of end of December 2025. And no, you do not want to acknowledge or also the contribution.
And yet, you say we are not discussing inflation here. We are discussing gold purchases here. Gold for reserve na yeka.
But the process of the gold purchase program, and this are improvement here. And
I just a gold purchase program. How they buy? How na so hold there? There was so hold there near Monabaso. As I'm na yeka. Almost to us, so they should acknowledge that fact. Let's not create any impression. Say gold board near a new creation. It is only a name change. PMMC.
I don't think that the argument the honor. I don't think that because even when no, for the purposes of let us not distort the fact. I'm saying, sir, I don't think the NDC government here refuses to acknowledge the fact say gold for reserve program. Again, what you are also failing to acknowledge is the fact that in the absence of gold board, right, in 2024, over $11.4 billion, and the worth of smuggling in terms of gold that is free or mine with. And that is according to
forget about whoever is saying
that is according to the IMF report.
But I'm just saying that forget about whoever
through the implementation of gold board, all this smuggling and Kebema says in free economy, we've been able to curtail it as a country.
That is a lie. Remember, as we speak, smuggling is still going on. As we speak, I ask a chrono police for buy a chrono bekoso. Entina make a choice say a free no Ghana deliberately near domestic purchases. In fact, last year, you see, 2024, through official channels, Ghana ate more than 10 billion worth of gold. 2024. Bank of Ghana, as part of the gold for oil program, gold for reserve program, $4 billion worth of gold. But what I say? It will a bit for official channels. As we speak, the gold need be smuggled the iron necklace near the acquired which you may not know. But the iron bead, no, they are called Dubai near the Akoton. Smuggling will still go on. It is above for man. It's because of the domestic a gold accumulation program na buy and I'm saying your because of the aggressive nature they to gold not because of gold board no didn't buy it was because of the existing program. They make a question can't debt you see in NDC's manifesto, Mr. Speaker, page 7, and then almost say am I personalizing am I more bidding na Kanye Bank of Ghana, page 7, point number 1.2.2. The head in here managing the exchange rate. Me pa choko 0.4 and 5. Edi asem no mo ka fa NPP ho. Why didn't they mention Bank of Ghana so mo be investigating Bank of Ghana for the gold for reserve?
Can quote now, boss, from the manifesto.
And almost investigating NPP for the opaque operations of gold for oil. And no man can say program near Bank of Ghana. Me patrol you running gold purchase gold for oil program ni gold for reserve near running or NPP officer now. But an impression was created say NPP for me patrol point number 4 2.2.1 no ne point number 4 that is 4 and 5 no reading me na no oriented.
So page 40 managing the exchange rate. To manage the exchange rate, lower inflation, enhance trade competitiveness, and attract foreign investment for economic growth. The next NDC administration will 1. Overhaul the entire framework of the foreign exchange management, including market operations, the legal framework, and strengthen the role of the BOG in forest market oversight, market structure, reserve management, exchange rate policy, export promotion, and management of capital flows. Oba point 2 or say 2. Review Tobuase. Review the Foreign Exchange Act 2006 at 723 to enhance city stability, boost investor confidence, permit illicit financial transactions, support the effective monetary policy, and promote a stable economic environment. Now, point 3 says investigate the NPP's opaque gold for oil initiative and review the gold purchase program of the Bank of Ghana. Now, over point 4, or say
that was a repetition.
Point 4, investigate BOG's gold for oil program. Review and rationalize the gold purchase program, right? And point 5 say control monetary growth and liquidity to ensure city stability and competitiveness for expansion of the export and foreign direct investment. So these are the key ones. Now, we point out as well.
Yeah, me president, almost can say Yakobo will be doing say gold board will be investigated and I said Chinebi bill condition. Where the Yanka press conference so is in their manifesto.
But they said they will investigate the Bank of Ghana.
No, they said NPP. One Orefiana. Number point 3 no. Or see they will investigate NPP. Tina what kind point 4 number is only a repetition.
Kind point 3 90.
Oh, what happens what can you? Only manifesto minimum the one manifesto. My kind of cover to cover. And I'm say point 3 and point 4 was only a repetition.
Master form mammy na.
Mr. Meeting form says I'm 5 minutes.
We will time.
What for time?
My lot of time.
Mr. Point what for all they are reading in time class equation. They are making and then more mention gold board be say Chinebi they will be investigated and a bill condition meanwhile mo manifesto me wom 2 this only confirms say the idea of gold reserve no NPP's idea a bill e can happen Mr. Speaker me tell her where that say a cano sits in gold balls books and now Bank of Ghana's books it's a material me and found one books correcting. The woman say, "Oh my Ghana na aboka 22 billion. Yakodi gold aboka 22 billion. Now in the area home. NRB more question is say NPP akodi aboka. You see by the architecture of the gold purchase program no. Wouldn't so then cost member. Because Mr. Speaker, my summer say kotofun ibre me gold. Okono obefaka ekwemu bedidi. And when I say in the purity level, in your manner, you can and to your day, Kabeba. And Rebino, NPP, Eboka in percentage terms, less than 10%. Does it out here? Less than 10%. Most Yansha and Akonfo. A find the expression in your manifesto say you will investigate us for that. More buy, more to gold for reserve, 10.9 billion. 10.9 billion no waboka 1.7 billion dollars was scaling a canoe from about 9% to 15.5%. na omo defend no I say o gold board this time otimi to gold no dodo eti waboka 1.7 billion it's normal aren't we hypocrites obi top gold for reserves $4 billion waboka almost 400 million which is 10% sabre ni yesi enye
okay
ene obi abeboka 15.5% ene de mo se ye afa de mo hunsa no timi aboama dollar no inflation kind inflation about for meboa nya atwom is what we are calling people out. That is what we are questioning. Mokasa economy ni mo adwo me pa cho ene full on the boys is it not expensive than when President Kufuor was president?
Very well.
Electricity is not more expensive.
Maso me da say so about so be ma memra the honorable Ashama so na maintain no or pajuma maintain.
Mr. Speaker, and that's it. The catch of the casa, close your mouth.
So,
Mr. Speaker,
one stated fact there. I'll come in.
The reason why Mr. Ranofa about me nanchu, me two, me cow, and it's a question be that promise. Say, IMFC, Sada. Osahini cow. Apenyu markets. IMFC. A book 1.7 billion. And on Nujina ho edi share gold board. And me, as a former member of parliament,
MPP,
I must also come. Nami be bisa MPP for. Na omungi omu book and our website. Baby IMF eka say gold board no aboka enya dia ye be wine no but me family phone and me Google you say oh edie na IMF eka fa $1.7 billion eka no say one aboka near me kind of website I might try go and say the IMF reports note that the Bank of Ghana incurred trading and policy-related costs. One gold board. In this, I was saying, and now I've been marking the minority leader could deny her say gold board aboka. Ye talk gold boka na. Ye talk gold boka. Hey, in the entity for besides say ye talk gold boka. Now, one, please respect me.
Oh, now you don't respect you.
Obia, one market, Tio. Obia, one market. Kenofuriata, 52.5 billion Ghana cedis. Okaishi commercial, yeah, taxes, you know. Is transferred into a non-port. Oh, no one did job here.
Mama, no can.
And no one did job here. Okaishi, Mabobang normal commercial bank. The taxes are yet general. Kano for that time, Super Catcher say 52.5 billion has been transferred to announce of Basin the Makassim Wisa when there is 7 years. Basin MPP for the moment. Now factor that with that's 11 cedis exchange rate. About $4.7 billion.
Interest was no can allegation or
you are excuse me, you are young in politics. Please don't disturb me. Please don't disturb me. You can write.
Respectfully, you
can write.
Obi didn't trust who Jana Manako. Me, who said you know who pen.
Respectfully, I'll come in.
I think that Mr. Maxwell, I've never met him, but he disrespected me.
Disrespected you?
You said, be my kwaji bibi.
Oh, see, I found your market. What it is him?
Look,
now what it is him?
But I made a comment.
I wanted to make it a bit funny by saying, oh, really? Mr. Jemfi, yes, say, mom is counting.
Are you funny?
So, mommy, Abramiska. Right, so mommy be Abramiska because you say, Papa, Kwajiska.
Doc, Maso, I mean, respectfully, who pen any paper, a teacher, or about to hear.
Because Walker say that thing that you said, I could have interfered. But I didn't want to.
Space.
Thank
you. But I
don't do that.
Send MPP 4% more catch a say 1.7 billion. Yedi Kodjum Akodidra Amekabanu is more than 4.7 billion, which is 4.7 billion dollars. Then they are hypocrites. They are real hypocrites I've never seen. And that is why I say and continue to say that MPP is the problem of this country. Because they don't lead with leadership that is expected from them. They always tell lies. What did IMF say? IMF no kaya. Now we say the responsibility of Bank of Ghana is what? Number one, the policy of the reserve and FX. And yes, sir. Now, once MPP left Parliament, there is a serious need of capitalization of Bank of Ghana. And yet this in Atina Hall and the Cabra is 60.8 billion. Now, so the capitalization is negative. And then Dr. Eric Yado, yes. You should have told us where that negative 93 billion where does it come from?
Gold board.
Does it come from this year? No. All the type of governance that we came to meet, a very murky mess. Is it mess or messy? That we came to meet. So you see, sometimes I find it very difficult to understand some of our intellectuals. I was a teacher before, but once I got up by the board, my preoccupation by standing there, he said, "Me train kodano adia, ochina omuso sa nyansa mi mo omuno, omitime dia bobra." We are asking this question. The Bank of Ghana said, "Adia meba be 2 years." Eka bobra ewo ho, eka wo ho kra MPP for gusu si Bank of Ghana. Ya kasa. So I must adopt a strategy that can enhance currency stability for Ghanaians to do business so that they can go and come. Yes, we know our economy is import-led economy. Now if we say we are strengthening everything, factories, where are the raw materials? Where are the factories? The youth are there to work. Yes, I agree. So it must take time. You stagger things. So the agreement between Gold Board and then Bank of Ghana, said deliberately, Bank of Ghana say a job meeting but that said this year around February or March, what does that tell you? It tells you that Bank of Ghana in its deliberate attempt to was trending the Gold Board. Now move on, float, do that right. I pull myself out. That is what we call management. That is what we call governance. So that we can move on. But by inference, so this is the IMF report itself. But I mean, this is paragraph 13. Yes. The heading is domestic gold purchase program operations have generated significant losses for the BOG. That is the heading. What? The domestic gold purchase operations. That's right. Have generated significant losses for the BOG. Now, I say losses in 2024 were equivalent to almost 400 million, yes, a 0.5% of GDP, 1/3 of which were related to gold for oil. In 2025, the significant scaling up of the domestic gold purchase program operations led to losses of over $1.7 billion, 1.5% of GDP, almost entirely related to gold for reserve door purchases. So, what is very important. Now, I say this amounted to a loss of 17% of the value of door gold sold by the BOG. Losses accrued on gold trades are a combination of service and assay fees paid to Gold Board. 1. 2, discount on gold sold to off-takers, which is exporters. And most importantly, exchange rate losses
from the spread between Forest Bureau rates paid to purchase gold and the cedi reference rate used for BOG accounting.
Mr. Speaker.
So this is what
2024 report.
Please.
This is what the IMF states.
Mr. Speaker.
Is it not the same report from the 2024?
Say me kasa ube kai dem be bresa ube confuse me. Say wo question bi a wo dey farmer me na me ma omwae. What did they say? IMF no dey eno ka kire yi.
The
What can I say? No, na biba. Say me kasa wo dey me madwum. Wan kasa gold board na ebo cow. Wan kasa or say a discounter who are doing business before the discount. Bank of Ghana, and I just say Bank of Ghana ni. Now, any Bank of Ghana now was soon 2024 e can buy. Now, this has changed because for you to stop smugglers, me, my cocoa smuggling and me prove me cocoa. For you to stop smugglers from moving cocoa, let me use cocoa as an example, from Ghana to Togo, you ask yourself, what motivates a Ghanaian like me to send my cocoa to Togo? That is the price differentials. Is that not it? And Muntin I need me cocoa because me come with their many cigar. Look at that. What allows Ghanaians say omunto gold no enfa smuggle for IMF on farm. Say gold no ye podima smuggle for no. The Ghana government and the Bank of Ghana, Obisa said, they motivated that small artisanal person say instead of only gold, no PMMC that time no on Franco, but or the Chinese, but or the Lebanese. Did we ask ourselves that question? Because of the price. So now we have made new law with gold board. Stop the smuggling. What will motivate a Ghanaian to now accept say gold no make harm a Ghana government? That is where the price differentials in Semino and so you turn high. That is where the debt comes from and selling it at a discount rate because you have to manage these people that are on the ground. Who price no nya omo from mau obepe kwan bia dia Cote d'Ivoire obepe kwan bia dia Togo.
That's a price no more gold board na setting.
Yes, gold board are setting their autumn in agreement in conjunction with Bank of Ghana. Who is the any Bank of Ghana? So off taker. Na Bank of Ghana nya gold no cotton. Na Bank of Ghana owning price are eton wa brochiri. And sana near off taker same meton. They know all these things. Doing all these things to manage the economy. To manage the economy, to manage the exchange rate, to manage the inflation. Has it been managed? The question is, has the inflation been managed? Those who are saying, and then we took it from 54, and the bar way, I was saying, and son of my father call 54. And then 15%, and I would call 54. Now, Saudi about 23. Why you do not change why they know 15%? They should give us a break. NPP should go back to their book and look at their balance sheet, their shame balance sheet. Before we are managing this economy, they did that economy no enyantinu. They even went to the bank account and still Ghanaians money through the DDP. And I want it. One thing said this week now 2 force in Jasaska.
It was a haircut. It was a domestic.
Mr. Speaker, you are speaking like a host.
You cannot say they stole money from Ghana.
They did because there are
so say it was an exchange program and
did we have some Ghanaians who protest against that stand of the government?
Of course, I know it's a fact.
That don't take my money. And so if I tell you don't take this water and you took it, are you a saint or a thief? That is what the question. We must say it so and hide behind English words. We shouldn't do it. Now ufayenu say nipa no say menfa ufayenu yetua. Yentua. Sikanu free him. What MPP people should note today. And he said hitherto Senya said for our economy to have the effects and not dollars, we have to. I was in parliament. Make sometime at Setepe as a saying could Eurobond and Senya dollars our economy no more.
Yes, so the question is say unya dollar no a free fall say because of gold board activities, yet you are not investing in strategic areas of the economy, ebe create nyuma, ebe ma productivity akosro. Rather, no, you prefer say obey the FN sterilization.
Mr. Speaker, asema okache mo pese Ghana ban embo brati say obi a odika na wakoto guarantee amane nkoda. Meanwhile, who the obika?
Be a human also a guarantee.
You get it right. Who the obika? Senka MPP4 Anko Bobusia Boni 13.25 billion euro bond. Nuntina Kenufra, it is a shame on the mark of the MPP. Your finance minister, Finance Minister Sombra Embe Kasano, he is not here. He is not in this country. Papa no kokranu katrese okosani hu yare no nyanko yakura green card. So we are looking at how do we pay our old debt that we owe. We do restructuring that I agree. How do we manage the infrastructure of this country? It all costs for money. It all costs for money. Now MPP fund say this week no year 23 and our finance minister releasing 23 billion say infantile contractors car. MPP for Nyabotre. MPP for anti said 2.1 billion has been released for the domestic bondholders no. Omanti Sikanu ye different. So they should give us credit say yes we have agreed. Me once the ekan but it shouldn't be said gold board never can. Okay. Because the IMF has said so. Say gold board by the Bank of Ghana the policy are only managing the gold activities. Any forest activity no corner can everybody. So why should you say the gold board are only about 54 is it 54 for 5.4 billion no the same yes, overall surplus. The operational surplus is 907 million. So we're looking at it in a very specific situation. My last question, MPP4, any opinion market, he said, show us where IMF said that gold bond Naboka. IMF and Kasa.
Doc, just a few rebuttals. Now, Yemra a year. Supreme Court ruling so on the legal vacation issues.
Oh, in my view and over the period, I don't want to engage in partisan argument.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in things.
Look,
I'm not interested.
And I respect you for that.
You know, I know of. Nameka say Openi Samejin free say. Oma miskadi omo de no mreme bi esan say me brother atia say mabia yama miska na me defend wo I think say from the beginning of the concept itself whoever is there will definitely incur those losses until either say as on mine why would we have a bank exchange rate differently, you know, forex differently, Abochi's social baby and differently, Bank of Ghana differently? How do we solve that? I think that should be our main problem. Other than that, no, I think the gold board architecture itself. What going forward? So Matiom way through said by 2026 and the Naseba Nase who say Omasa Boka, not just say either say individuals now one no money year. And by that arrangement, no, say
from July. I shall say from July.
I thought the March.
No, from July. Yes.
July. So
even the IMF acknowledged it is from July.
So that should be next year. July.
No, I started this year July.
Because I see a share calculation per year. So about next year July.
About reflecting in 2026 report.
Okay, so that will be half year.
Yes.
Then maybe 2027 to any in full. So I say actually who are any who attend. It is office a Bank of Ghana and I be a conveniently a deshanwa. Ebia watchna. One guess what they want. Ebia went to me and Namaye. A woman say opening Samije Finanoya. No swordeny. And the guy too is brilliant. No two ways about that. And you know, Mimifi say probably is a victim of his own circumstances, and over the period, he's been a bane right in the fortunes of the MPP. You cannot hide that. Intino Ushemua, even when he was talking, Utimu say, and yet, Adiana, Esi or go board Nemo, such a person does not even deserve any defense because of in some wakika. That was the trajectory my brother was going. Intino, Utimu say, I know what here for your market as well. Utimu say, they say a similar thing. It's not just only about go board issue. It's about the fact that it has been a thorn in their flesh. What it's a payback.
Oh, hell.
It's a payback. They have bundled all the issues because any BBR opinion some in the past and their view na the correct. What you say? For example, so say Omoko Bank of Ghana I demonstration near to force.
Bank of Ghana. I'm sorry resign.
We also know say Trasika at the Bank of Ghana Trasika at the support bank, and then later on almost say they had over 60 billion or something like that. So I think maybe we are unduly politicizing Bank of Ghana's operations. The mandate, for stability in terms of the FX and then money supply near there. So if Abane said things of that nature come up, partisan scoring, taking advantage, on both sides, you cannot falter them because one is in government, one is in opposition. You don't expect the opposition to punch, above your nose. You have to punch below. Send back what you say. But sometimes, so I didn't say the thing is the fact. Said this is what it is. No matter how you look at it from, different perspectives, the opposition say, "But I know do form." You see, so at the end of the day, nobody say people think you are not looking at the issues as they should.
Okay.
To the media, Sani Abano, I think what we should rather be looking out for is the fact almost all Mati Omo.
Okay. Marshall.
Yeah, breath. I'm assembly go so I can doc. Yeah, breath what that say yes PMMC to and to good nunti Yamon Abaso. It's a Bank of Ghana program. But then this IMF they report by BOG operations abokan. Omochi yaboso. It's a NPP for abokrono for gold for reserve ni gold for oil operations. Mr. Speaker said my boy. No aba. Ene de obi a person create pictures so no ne kana wa bone de onye bone. And now Bank of Ghana yes, Bank of Ghana na no ho enra na obo ka no me pacho sa Bank of Ghana no wasesa na enra bi na NPP ayen e di atem gu ye nimu asesa ya bokro no me pacho de se na moja ni emu me boa ene obi abade a musi ye nyina ye nyintum eso no ne ka ne de operational charges and operational cost koto de ne bodwe ne nya nkire ne yemfa aba na me boa especially where I say Ghana Nibia Yamushino. And he said, in percentage terms, there were no so bebre wuno, esom pafenam. NPP in percentage terms, eboka almost 10%, 9 point something, and 10%. And this year I was saying there be a sododo what to go this much 4 billion. Would you move almost 10% na yakadia a sododo? Now when you say ni panano, now I know you the mana waboka close to 70%. Mr. Speaker, I must say Antonio Monfreno. Aren't you surprised? Etimoya mo sheshemo. If I don't go to us, say ni a penna, we have no problem.
At what volume?
You see? Also,
wait. What you say?
Nyabotre.
Was it 2023? Oh, please. 2024 to more 2023. 2023 to more 2022. That is good. 2025 so much to more at change.
You know why I wasn't specific?
But the volume no. Also, significantly
the higher the volume, the higher the loss.
But why lecture? Nyabotre enka volume. Why lecture? Nyabotre enka volume. Mama percentage. If 4 billion is equivalent to 400 million, 10.9 should be equivalent to what? In terms of losses. Once I've given you the percentage, the volume shouldn't come in at all.
Why do you deal with the percentage?
Yes.
Because we are talking about nominal figures. And
Mr. Speaker, How many 4 billions?
It was always the case. It was always the case because even any time you be accounted for the level of depreciation of our city in terms of nominal figures, na ya twe ho free no na ya be say okay the rates at which increases no eba no say, and that is where the argument has been. But the Ghana ni no awoshe wa no pay no open the real figures next.
Mr. Speaker, let me tell 4 billion I was saying in terms of he's an academician and also an intellectual. 4 billion academician. 4 billion. Let's be 4 billion I was saying or 10 billion. It is all fun that way. It works that way. And more beyond Yana use of betting hiding behind volume. And I will confuse you. 4 billion and the NPP, MI 10%. Me pacho adana 4 billion. Uko yi 4 billion free and this 10 billion numa. E was say no be 17%.
Okay. Maso me da say mami encha me hombra Supreme Court issues no eso. And the Supreme Court threw out the honorable Kwadwo Opon Koma ne suita or de koye. Ma yencha ye hombra ye ba ye beba so. Maso ye ba that particular subject ne so na ye de hon komo. Stay with me. I'll be right back.
Mino All-in-One Nutrimix is truly milky and contains calcium. So no need to add milk to that rich, creamy cup, which helps to nourish and energize your kids. Mino All-in-One Nutrimix is such a smart choice. Mino, energy to go further.
Ebusia amamre ni bidi yakoye chichi ene biso e wano anu heya na Ghana eba ne amamre de bia ne die ye ntare hye ye kasa ene amane nyina na kai se onia 95.1 ene onia TV ye ene ye gia basobo no fi se afibia ye de onia sankofa festival trade ebrewo na afiwe ehon hihye so a ye de bana ebi say ye de adansa futufiam e hyasie from the 6th to the 9th of August 2026. Tiabra dansa futufia mekosono na gamashi yeso ekoso. Cape Coast Fetua Fashe and also ye 3rd to the 5th of September 2026. Azim ye di kundum afashe no ebeshisheso from the 9th to the 12th of September 2026. Ekropon ye baba honi ododra festival na brem when ye 21st to the 27th of September 2026. Nyato amlogato hobetoto ye bana oroyo and ye 5th to the 8th of November 2026. Ye di cooking competition bebrewo People's Assembly and ahemfu jabo kese na nkasa ebebrewo saso na moswo papa bi and ye di dwumedie no abribia onia sankofa festival train amamre ni amane ye tiase
Onia group yene afashe dewbo adwumakuo ba ko pa ye wo menyimu.
You may call Masayasin, a Testitum tomato paste, Testitum seasoning powder, Royal Aroma Rice.
A German near menu, why Nebeka? The Sukun Samuso and yet, and Kodato Tofiwa, and the Wombo and a Dafom the Suya Adia. The Ghana, Quaya Yama and War Faswa, a Yacha Messua. Milbusase, na ye, why Nebeka Wasem. A Jim me, and the wool. And see a Juada, Ecosi, if you had a piano, Pato Shiame, Captain Smart. And it Mapamfo, Onia 95.1 FM, and it Onia TV, Onia de Yadrine, Woho Pa.
New Meko Masayasin, and Napa Foods, having black insecticide spray and mosquito coil. Jumana what you mean now what breno I will say a mo with media one cassa would be kinya who I will feel you sent any the only short time with the number my bunch medino ever someone p.m. no eya bomodia eka na Nama McBrown ene ni studio audience fo nyina ho ye de wona wo wonsa no djuma wona wo adoma chedie wona wonni ni daso e wa abrabo mu no san kofo ne ye ti yensa efe wo mu na sa djumedie no ye fra ni ye brebi
and sometimes right now bremu ye mu bi no ye family no wo be wo sa ye no akufie na sa family no kwa ono na wo no ko
Kwasia dan nso de yete yen safre anyomtofo ekukudam se ne be ya omba behu ye nyom yetimi de bi atwa ye nase yie ankasa enya anyomtofo nko awo nemom yete yen safre sini twafon so se ne be ya ye no mu ebedi nkomo ya bedwafo ebetena se wodwumedi nase de a ene na bebi ewu ye woni noi Uncle Fred Kwasia Nest ene mimi eno te kai ne yenhia efia de bia 7 p.m. ene Kwasia de bia 6 p.m. ewo Onia TV so Onia Showtime yese ye twi weni die ho
Go nana.
Onia Showtime with McBrown. If you're the bia 7 p.m. any question the bia 6 p.m. Ewo Onia TV so. You me kwa maso ya saying. Eye high sense. Obuase. Numina wumu ankasa. My life insurance. Medima for herbal clinic.
Fufu asandrobie akoma fufu party kayo yoyani wayo eye free emfienum nie ana akoma fm amakoma sima asantemai ane kanamai adi fufu free eye the biggest fufu party our Ghana afidie eposo Saturday 22nd August 2026 and opadru bako sharp na jumadi na sase jumadi na eposo our Asokwa Municipal Assembly aye opposite Makion Pentecost New Asafo MHHS School Park na so akoma fufu party so poso boye e bia na be my banchi bode atosode e nam na poso de boa freyen our 0246766060 the 5th edition of akoma fufu party kai said date no Saturday 22nd August 2026 akoma fufu party proudly sponsored by Promo Tomato Mix AFR deodorant roll-on Ohiniri seasoning powder Lasho insecticide powder Medima Flora Clinic, Body Crown, fresh and frozen food, Chanjaba Dental Clinic, Grow Fireable Tonic, and Akuma Bitters, Akuma Fufu Party, Wopa, Oba 2 and quite different, Baya Ediasa, Kumasia Baby or two Fufu, one and Epa, no Abe Funo, Nemomakai, Sakuma Fufu Party, Yoyano Ayua, a free
Akuma FM 87.9 Kumasi.
Even when we went off air, and it was why I would come now. My kind of messages, nibi, but very importantly, yes, my member honorable so honorable my member also now have your bat just about 2 to 3 minutes on the rebuttals. Now yemra the other issues, no. Maso mama enough time. I beg your pardon.
Okay, so before nsema mokita about volumes, no. 2022, Omugo volume 3.47 tons. 2023, 37.0 tons. 2024, 56.47 tons.
Yes.
Who come in Sunny in Abuma? Sami Demfi to me use 1 year at Concanina. Sami Demfi in 2025 out of 110
tons
of
gold.
Tons. You are
lessening the argument.
Please.
Wait.
This is what is in the book.
Christ.
This is what is in the book. for NTMPP for the 3 good years, you know, gold turning in 96.957 tons. For 3 years. Sami Jemfini gold board the 1 year. Afiba ko at 110 tons. And W'asem Yie. Now, Doctor, me do W'asem Yie, but Mami Kasem we should try for say. In this Ghana for I say, ye be share say gold board beboka 2027 the 2026 reporter. A Kadia Ebeba, a Dresden Bank of Ghana, Praboka from Frititi Basin there. But how it should be well handled. My uncle said, we are going to look at zero. Then he said, IMF and Kada say gold board Aboka. A Bank of Ghana, Nishishe, and a gold board Adisu. Say, no gold board Ankasa Ejin Akunya. Oboka, or no gold board Nan Ebe Triakan. And that is what should be clear for everybody. A Jumabia Niwa, Bank of Ghana cra OGC who interbank rate OGC agency who Addis in the cabre on one called Jom Cra Becaso Didwa. Addis in the Eka Eddie Brayen.
But 2025 on so Bank of Ghana Boka.
And America say
yes.
Afibia Ebeboka, but we are managing the economy. The America Tron say. The American say obisi ye tom gold aboka. American say obisi ti ho jinsi hu boka. And that is it. Or take konja so anko be bia jinsi hu kra boka.
I think so anti-laundering and anti-smuggling now.
Yes.
I think that might have contributed
to what? Ghana for yes, baby and then has stopped. IMF and Cow baby. And America MPP for every year. They cannot threaten NDC. They cannot threaten the current government. And a table with 10. And away. After you monkey to me, the floor of the house, I catch Myanmar Attorney General say, time I want to remember who will coincide. It was on video. So if Monkey is doing that on the floor of the house, what do you think it is in mind? Or person carry this as his personal job. Now, Monkey is it the ranking member of finance in MPP? No. So why is it that Dr. Amin Anta, the former finance minister, on Kasa, because he knows Monkey and their cohort are lying, he should have come out and speak. Because maybe one parliament, say, Kasa. Or when you stand up and say, we are talking law. I want to ask him whether he's an economist. And that is why your figures are wrong. Because the ranking members, all of them have run away. Shremi, ranking member, Oka Onuhu, our finance person, Onuni Nukasa. And Nuntina, extortionist, where the new free say, ask Afenyoman say, what is your interest in threatening Sami Defi? Because if it is not your personal agenda, income minority funding in account, and that is where your personal agenda stands tall. But we are telling you, you cannot threaten us. Governance is to make sure that Ghanaians have the benefit of democracy. And America said, before my brother Aoye Pawan Tapa, and now seller, Benya democracy who ahikika, and only say yen NDC for the MPP fund, we must be dealing with each other. That is what will make them vote. But say, scratch my back, send MPP for Ejina Hoka, scratch my back, I scratch your back. The value of democracy will be lost. So we are ready for them. And Attorney General, quicken the speed of doing your job. And let us see the bottom part of the pot.
May I say thank you. Just about 10:30. I got 30 minutes. But I got 30 minutes. 30 minutes. No. Me chama munina 10 minutes. Now, Endra 21st August, the Supreme Court threw out the interlocutory injunction that Urakojo Ponkroma file as against the legal vacation sittings and the criminal proceedings as I say happen. A year, the High Court, especially in the matter of a year the Republic versus Edubuaye and Afeinso Ura Hanan versus the Republic. Now, very important a year landmark case. My memory also Maxwell not mean on this particular ruling. Justice G. Puaman sitting as a sole Supreme Court judge and or say Ura Kojo upon Kroma and any lawyers did not really establish any key constitutional issue with the injunction application at one Supreme Court. For that reason, Supreme Court ejitumwa enyeye until it has been thrown out. Mamintio on it na afi memra.
Time ni being rebut. Na me busa question na was say on jano. Wakani nsemu nyina wa nwura na asem.
I'm the one moderating the program. At any point in time,
I also have rights on your show.
At any point in time, I may what question I'll come in to ask.
I also have rights on your show. So I was say won't me ma ya we. Me kwa me kasa be wura ma for time ni nyina no asan ka chem say me time aso. Ono kasa no he o de number change be bia waja no. No, I can't do it. So me, what is
what time? No, I'm just telling you, sir. I'm moderating the program, and at any point in time, I will question. And any of you, no, just to ask
the time already. Me half, me engage you that. What is it? Me can't what
Is
he okay? Can't say 2 minutes for responding to say issues. Mr. Speaker, you can't about gold board. You know, you must be be fishy. Course gold board. You one more can about smuggling. Smuggling, they say gold board. The system no one they want to need or the to gold no. Enti or raise prices e kwan be so me pacho how do you know say price our dey ama aggregators no or be catch us say oton 2 cedis and pacho kwan be na wo be fa so ade be hu so oton 2 cedis me bu saw to oton 1 cedi no be catch us oton 2 cedis abaye den aren't we surprised say Bank of Ghana under NPP and Bank of Ghana year arrangement no Bank of Ghana antwe ne ho free dwumadi enu even though say e boka. Now under the current year air course says a Bank of Ghana say matching who free. Anya bia nka program na Bank of Ghana na benefit. Me ba cho wo busa ho say den na air course wo da mu ntia Bank of Ghana hu say ade ni nkoyi a afa de wo twe ne ho free. We be say hu say question. Oh papa we had na yes sir.
Oh sorry no I'm trying.
Oh me too much.
Me ba cho what you say. Enti I didn't think a Bank of Ghana actually who every sir and say and then a bill. Must say Mabetia bond holders in the Antonio Monfremo and this money muasa. A car more boy muja honomono. Sir over $21 billion at JDM1 Prof Mills about 2 honomono. One a bit eye, another danko kufuado, and the bit as aka. Into Mabe to be among Kamanuntum Muntia, a idea because a car mobile CA. There over 70 billion now. I thought 70 billion. 110 billion now. My boss I cannot towards the Siano. Mebacho Abaya or Beba, which is NPP Abano, and a Beba Betria. It's my mom for the way a momo was suffering. Now, my memra a win so. The last one before Christ we say, Mr. Speaker, NDC4 a person obia who say Pepe pay yentie wo mu ya. Na e ka na aba no mse mu obi anka ho asema omomfa chew pa ma NPP omompa NPP chew ese enra bi ni na yenim bosi a ka e ba ya because of the gold for reserve amoye any gold for oil no ya be hunu say e necessary cost ene de obia na omo be ya adwene na emomo ma ne yese ye de ayeye na na ka no mpo wo form percentage terms no eye abonsamde na emomo de ene de eye osoro de ya masa obi ene wonu obi abe ya adwene on it eti momra monye honest enough na momra me pa chew I believe said the side no crown Ghana for better mase na ebusa say adan ne ka no say eye 10% na MPP ediko gina ya mo se ne board ya ye expect say ka no ke be $1.1 billion the extra $600 million na that so no me pa chew e fa hin you have to answer this. Mr. Speaker, my memra a Supreme Court ruling no. Mitie eye Owura Frank Davis. Ah we Owura Kojo Opon Nkrumah lawyer. Kojo Opon Nkrumah na de issue ni court. Ese ye ntiase. Se eye the superior court no ewo vacation. Nenso ye de ensem bi asi honom. Ese sa ansem ne de ehu hia pa sen murder. Ehu hia pa sen rape. Ehu hia pa sen all other crimes. Just because our individuals no politically exposed persons into omo de yam prosecute omo. Chief Justice. What is we? De abase wa masa court mienu nkwan. Eso omo prosecute sa individuals. Me ba cho. Court enra no. Me mom de baby abebeto bia yempoyim. Owura Frank Davis. Ene Kojo Opon Nkrumah. Ama ente ho anaso o mama ye hint bi se de ombeko for review. Review na bi ebetimi asesa. Na mete hai pa no Mr. Speaker. Se me catch us na me wogidie se ye be rule am Kojo Opon Nkrumah ma na me boa. John Mahama, President Mahama na ma ye hunu is Supreme Court no. They were in bed with MPP. If I just okay. Unanimous FC, but just nyam nam kan. See ruling be akoma NPP. Nto wono oba ye no sa bre no kra ye se Chief Justice owo ho no woni NPP aban ne kam ahwibo mu dodo nti ye ba power NDC ba power omo be yi na free ho indeed omo de omo bo hye so omo pe flimsy reason bi ade yi maame to kono afri ho justice to kono ye yi na free ho no omo de omo Chief Justice na aba omo Chief Justice omo betimi na akwhwe ball omo de na aba omo Chief Justice omo ya comfortable with omo betimi na akwa ayi omo Chief Justice omo timi ni ko programs I don't know omo de na aba. In fact the reshuffling na akoso wo course no mu no se me gina President Mahama no asem so enra bi asem a wo kan ya me mom de na me ni gidie hanhye ya akoso no enra no na me ni gidie se but omo so mo be ko review a me ni gidie kro omo wo omo nko ne enhwe de be free ma ba mpa what ase
okay
ebio na enya nwanwa me time aso ana
si for mama account
enya nwanwa se ensema wa man mu nyina yese court superior court na ekọ vacation emu bia ni honom se obi akum obi kura yenim se no na ye nyam bransem kese kura no ni nyina are on hold but because these individuals Owura Hanan enu Owura Dubu ahin politically exposed individuals intino omo de Chief Justice ama they go ahead say ye ni wo masem. Now, you see, response a Chief Justice class to honorable attaching amono. I felt that Chief Justice ni refini huana. Say be on camp President Mahama political appointees no. Even though President Mahama na appointed ne say na adwene ne say on camp Mahama appointees ne wan bacho onwini hu mienu because Chief Justice we don't expect him to take his stance no.
Okay.
To give that response to them as if say we a politician. So, the bidding of President Mahama, it's as simple as that. Because the same way, yenti being pending some that any who be that name of the year can ye idea decision be a Supreme Court ni take be almost say a mara and I say be president my mewa. Enke who say nonsia we ebom prim.
But that's it. Doc, but remember also na mentio on the Supreme Court ruling no na afi member the Honorable Daniel Sharma so na yen fancy.
Well, briefly, me feature from Asase Radio. Ghana's domestic gold buying program helps strengthen the city and rebuild foreign exchange reserves, but cost the central bank about 1.7 billion in losses in 2025. The International Monetary Fund said on Tuesday. Oh, sir. In a report examining the Bank of Ghana's domestic gold purchase program, the IMF said the initiative was instrumental in stabilizing the economy during the country's debt crisis by increasing foreign exchange inflows and supporting international reserves. The program generated losses equivalent to 1.5% of gross domestic product, up sharply from about 400 million in 2024, as the central bank bought gold at exchange rates above its own reference rate, while also paying discounts to exporters and fees to program operators. Uba Wechia. I say cumulative volumes and inflows. Total gold-backed foreign exchange inflows rose dramatically from 1.7 billion in 2023 to 12.7 billion by the end of 2025 under the broader strategic program managed via the Bank of Ghana. And you know, the difference in terms of 7. Hey, we Google when you
and I'm saying no 10.99 and 12.
In 2025, the
cumulative volumes and inflows.
And I'm saying 10.9.
Total gold-backed foreign exchange inflows rose dramatically.
Approximately 11 billion
to 12.7 billion by the end of 2025.
And you're wrong.
Well, that is if the source is not where. I just read from that particular place. I say, to frank with you, as he said, this particular suit of the so many victory there. I didn't see it coming. Say Obenya victory no. But this is not to suggest to say the way a man maybe a Chief Justice is conducting himself, you know. It's marks of someone who is in the pocket of the executive or the president. I don't think that's a fair comment.
President
but because your man here just within this particular government era, and Tamale High Court, it will say opening in them, right? Na Konya no, or somewhere almost a court to view, but the same court. It is a summer opinion of Americans, a culture, sir, opinion. Very unpalatable words. Then the same court system, they went for an appeal, an interpretation at the Supreme Court. What you say? They went for an interpretation of the Supreme Court. Supreme Court said that be a brana who file is away, you know, per the LI na dahono. I just say you what you are saying. Yes, you may have a case. Said there were irregularities, but as far as the law is concerned, it cannot be used retroactively. Therefore, Mr. Yindam should remain an MP. It's the same court system. It's the same Supreme Court. What you are saying was it not the same court system that the venerable minority leader, the majority leader, Etimima Chief Justice, Ekonvoki from 10 o'clock area, I'm the injunction to speak as so. It's the same court. It's the same rule of law that is working. You understand? People may have their own issues about that. Say it was ahead of Friday Supreme Court, but you have government to save. Government cannot just be collapse. What you say, and we all know, say obviously Sankasa MPs, say you move free parliament. It will have created a whole lot of problems. So there was a need for something to be done. What yes, there was a need for something to be done, and then they felt to say that was it.
You disagree with President Mahama said that time unanimous FC.
You have not heard my view on that.
No, I'm asking you.
I'm saying, sir, you have not heard my view on that.
I'm asking now.
And I'm saying, because this what's it called unanimous FC. It was more or less like a political kind of
and
jargon.
I'm asking you, so you disagree? Yes or no?
If you listen to my argument, I'm saying it's the same court system.
I'm asking a simple question. You agree with President Mahama? Why is he finding it difficult?
I agree or disagree?
We are looking at, you see, I'm looking for honesty in the statement. I'm asking him, do you agree with President Mahama? Do you disagree with President Mahama? Say, lebo, then the judicial system is in bed with NPP. Do you disagree?
Are you the host?
No, but for no member
may say it is the same court system. Nothing has changed. Whether President Mahama labeled the court or the judges as being in bed, he equally called upon them. Say, look, when you're courageous, You have a term, nobody can do anything to you. Be courageous, give your rulings and other things. Those politics are within the partisan MPP, NDC kind of politics, where they label as that. And I make sure I say, and I say, I'm demonstration, democracy is under attack. But the same court system, and I can say, Mr. Yindam, on your idea to me free parliament.
Okay.
But the same court system, even when it was so clear, say, when it has been used previously, say it was so clear, say, so we'll be so independent. Actually, sign of parliament in terms of the party that he belongs. But we had a way of using the same court system to make a different ruling.
Okay.
What I said, but to be frank with you, sir, Chief Justice this and Shandiaba. Now, Omo Kosa court now challenging them. They were going to have any victory.
Okay. Thank you. Doc Mamina was Mamin Travel Home Brame, the Honorable Ashaba Bebem na Afe Yetime Edi Esi. Stay with me.
I want to answer himself.
Aduane bi a ɛde no ɛhyɛ aseɛ ɛde free baby.
Right, Mami no, so Mami Mra the Honorable Ashama so na maintain na yen fancy. Honorable Mami on the Supreme Court ruling no ansa na ya pejayemo.
Yo, mina newo muni say senya omo achre the law is the law and it is the law. Wow say no nipa na semi ye me ya also on court first any honorable lawyer Atachia. Mr. Speaker, 2008, Diana Atachia Kaye. This recorded by Radio Gold. Osi Court Order 97 allowed Chief Justice to empanel a court any day, including vacation. Atachia share. So we credible. Who can say
audio no?
You see,
Maxwell.
The same person also say Oka Assembly the president Yedibema Phantom. Waka. And say no, the same person Oka Assembly 2000, the time there was runoff in time. Okay.
Yeah.
Or to be court on ex parte motion. Raymond Achaye Yoko was in there any lawyer later.
Tony later.
I can't even go on. Declare results. They went as friends of the court and stopped this attaching. They will catch and say, "Here vacation." Sometimes they won't need vacation. Lawyer attaching. Sometimes they honorable won't need vacation. This is what I tell you, that these MPP people, they are not carrying themselves like people who we should learn from. Why today you said this, tomorrow you said that.
Why do you want
because CI 47 order 97 has given what? Discretionary powers to the Chief Justice. Why won't you respect that? Why won't you respect that? And that jurisdiction said, and then Chief Justice, like I said, okay, they should panel case binom enkokot. The Deputy Attorney General, Dr. Srimsa Abeka said, any case when Kwana Edi during the vacation trials are almost a year. So what is their problem? What is their headache? Muna mujina wana kachira say, yeah, ora no aton sum. So if you have oral cases, you say, you move free someone them. And you say what? We will not be scared by all that you are saying. The law still becomes the law. And we must go on it. And you time na ebesisa. You get it right. Inti say the 18 almost say the kwancha DFA ye did yo. Ye di sikande yo. You get it right. Today the government is looking for money. Employment is there. The youth must be employed. We must create jobs. We need money. In this case, we were caught in there. I won't say to me we a case now. Either we may get money or nipa no be cost some money kwatona. Ana muso mudia. The best lawyer in this world, you say, who do W'asem kokota ya dinu ama on temtem na wako ananyesa. Meanwhile, you have taken your legal fees. So why are MPP people preventing this? And no kokot. When I catch say honorable kojo ngro. Ni say obe wini omunko su no munko. Eye court o. Obe wini injo munko su no munko. Omunko a no munko ya appeal. No must say appeal e chidene sa ho.
And you can only go for review.
Inti appeal, review. Inti review no grab to be 1,000 no munko.
This is a judgment from the Supreme Court.
I don't America says
obetumi for
some review until they can continue. They will win. Maybe we believe Paul said they will win this case. Who tells you that they will not win? Be there to me, sister, we ask you.
Almost a more cheerful reason.
They will win. Dog, me too, I say, I am sure. So they should continue going so that we manage this economy. So they should continue going to court once we work. Once we see that the lives of Ghanaians have been improved. And that is what it is. So if these people are mudi, hey, niente impesomoko court ni se Signal Bureau sikai oho, Hanan sikai oho, se enye nukra court nun jam no mun koson because who court umrani ubibia asay. Intinu W'asem by that time, no, then everything will be fine. You get it right. So you realize that for me, they should continue going and then they will finish October plan. Now no, the Afghan who get our passport and now to coin and they say now cover fine. I wish them well in that case, but nobody should stand anywhere to scare us. Cases are echo court, no judgment, judgment comes out. It is not only lawyers or judges who read the judgment. And judgment, you know. And that is why we are saying that more beer judges, so lawyers, so you continue to go peacefully. We'll be praying for you to finish very, very well. Because in this country, Mekachro said, the only thing that will motivate a floating voter who does not belong to any political party to be motivated to vote on every 4 years, December 7. And he said, those who are in power are done what? We take them through the process to make sure, say, you render account. I have to render account to the state. Now, when you sit on the chair, and then you get out, and they say render account, and I do kokota. Then you hear MPP people shouting. So are you trying to condone corruption? Is that what MPP is trying to tell us that they want to condone? That you want to condone corruption? And that is very bad for this nation. Your shout tells us that you want to condone corruption. MPP want to condone corruption by this stance that I see, which is not good for ordinary Ghanaians. And we must change this. And we must change it now. Na ye bibia enkosu yiye.
Okay.
Na mida mampenyasi. Na no ma ho se okosegleme. Ye hia edan pa. Ye wie edan. Na Ghana fo a binu susu. Omunya edan mu entina. Your Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Wo na wo share edan nasi. Na me wo gide se wo na wo bewie. People come and criticize everything, but that's nothing.
To be frank with you, that's ugly.
That's nothing.
The first time I'm a foul, it's very impressive.
Yes.
I was so mighty.
In Yama, woman in Anu, Nana do time no manko to Tulu vessel, toilets and sink when Oma to Tunyamanina. And no was in the panel of court. And then also, His Excellency, I thank you so much. But let me use this special time to greet my
200 million
Minister Honorable Haruna.
$200 million
I thank you so much for your leadership and how you are steering the affairs of the education ministry. We will continue to do so. Hitherto, there are some people who sat on it. And no matter that Ghana force said, we are feeding 5 million people. Nanado are buying Marisol Minister. Almost they are feeding 5 million people. We are saying no move feeding 3.5 million. Meanwhile, Ghana for we tell me MPP for him paying for Ajisa Sika Ajiska 1.5 million Sukun Kodan Chen. Honorable Edutu Mankasa Bekase. Oh, I am
less than 10 million. What you say?
Honorable Daniel Kosiashaba, Mami, and Dr. Jonathan Asantiochi, thank you so much, Doc. I'm grateful. But this is very important, Pacho. There is going to be a national policy dialogue on assessing the implementation of the Vigilantism Act. Now, it is organized by Election Watch Ghana, high-powered delegation, including some former ministers for national security. You have the Honorable Totobi Kwache present on Tuesday. Professor George Mayere present. Now, I think so. The Honorable Francis Poku, Colonel Festus Abuaje will be there. The Honorable Benjamin Dr. Kumbo Ebewoho and Afeinso, the Honorable Kandapa, former National Security Minister, Kandapa will be there. COP Emmanuel Teye Kujo Ebewoho and Afeinso, Miniabema Kwasinyo Nchi will be there. We'll be there on Tuesday. Yebe moderate na yashese after passing the Vigilantism Act. Juma we have an election in 2028 until the rehearsals start from now. Mayenshia on Tuesday the Kofi Annan Peacekeeping Training Center na yentimi and have such a national conversation a border on vigilantism. Na yes, I'll be there on Tuesday. Na yenisa komono. But now what Chimu has been very sad. Mame enwishe ebusuafo ewo Kumase within the week yantia sem papa me former boss Ura Kwabena Kese adda the bonkum so mame ma ne yere ma fosia ebusuafo no Claudia Festus Gilbert Bra Kwame any team amowo Kumase ne nyina no my condolences na yenkase monshede will be there yenyina ba be kan busua no na afiyetimi akra ye papa echi krakra Mr. Kwabena Kese Hesbeth was a father to all obia wo media yemude watete ye nyina no bebre and me share abusua ni nyina nkran anope me de Kwame apia ko bi yemfa unsi adomdom ye ne adwoada ye no behia ewo yensempa so ewo New FM 95.1 shenin so na dasene unsan so ede ye enhia bi. Good morning Ghana, enjoy the rest of your weekend yakra mu nyina.